Now we should be fine. Hopefully. God, I'm hoping. Whoops. Okay. I don't know why. Streamlabs was dual streaming for a minute there. And I was like, why? I should definitely not be dual streaming currently. Anyway, we're so back. Also, what the fuck? I've not seen this many of y'all on the stream like that in ever, actually. So thank you for attending. I am a little fucked. A little. When I mean a little, I mean severely. This hangover is crazy. But I promise you Sunday. So we're here on a Sunday. We're going to be reading from chapter 800 to 810. Maybe 815, depending on how well the story currently goes. Because y'all have been gassing up 800 to 810 for a fucking, like, a day and a half. 2 days, technically, but yeah. Anyway, hello JR, hello Thunder Shadow. Yeah, hello Thunder Shadow, and hello Nightshade. Hopefully that didn't fuck everything. I'll delete the old alert in Discord as well. Make life a little easy, you know? But yeah, I can't lie to y'all. I made some grave mistakes last night. Grave mistakes. Yeah, let's delete. Yeah, delete that one. Because that's not private. But that don't matter, because we're here now. Anyway, how are y'all doing? Sorry for the bit of later stream. But how is everybody generally? I'm hoping good. Wait for everyone else to pop their heads back in. Brother, what's wrong with your camera? I don't know. Like, it should be fine now. But a minute ago, it was because I was dual streaming. I don't know why it decided to dual stream, but it just did. Good. Love to hear it. I'm great. Reading Regress's Tale for Cultivation. Still on it? Still on that reread? Better on a reread because I'm going to see all the foreshadowing. Yeah. People getting rowdy here in the hospital because they're about to win an IPL match, I think. You follow cricket? Absolutely not, mate. I'm British. No one follows cricket here. Good, sir. Hello, Dark Silver. And Quibs. I've got to say hi to Quibs before. Just started to reread yesterday. I thought it was rereading it on Friday as well. Oh, is that you saying you wanted to? It might have been that you wanted to. Anyway, I'm a fuck up. Don't go to work and immediately drink afterwards. You'll regret your decisions, especially after a 9-hour shift. And that's all I'll elaborate on, really. Didn't it start there? Oh, wait, I'm lost. Didn't what start where? Oh yeah, and a little elaboration on yesterday's stream for some reason. The reason most of y'all couldn't return on the stream was because the latency got fucking turned off. So no one could, like, backtrack on the stream for, like, 2 hours of that stream being alive. And I got copyrighted, so that's fun. Luckily, not copyrighted in the sense that they took down the stream. It was just the background music had changed from a different artist. Or a different production company. Which is cringe. Very, very cringe. But that's been all sorted. I got copyrighted a couple times, actually. Cricket Ellie. I mean, if it started in England, then it didn't last long here. The only country that I know cricket's fucking huge in. You streamed? I didn't know that. Yeah, I know, right? Imagine this dumbass streaming. Bro gets copyright strike to everybody. It's not a strike, I just get copyrighted. And even then, it's only happened twice. On my other channel, I got copyright striked, which is why I couldn't upload for a year. I got 2 consecutive copyright strikes, actually, from Kodokwa. For watching Bungo Stray Dogs, and what was the other one? It was a romance. What was it? I can't remember the name. The manga's been on hiatus for like a year. It's coming back very soon. Yo, today I'm as happy as someone who got drugs for free. Okay, tablet. Right. Oh, this is... Oh my god, the fact that I can't remember this is going to annoy me. Reddit! I followed Reddit to keep up with the news. Oh my god, I don't care. I don't care. Shut up. My happy marriage? My, fuck. Oh my god, I don't think it's my... No. Fuck! Wait, I'm in its Reddit. What the fuck's it called? What are Reddits I go on? Oh my god. More than a married couple, but not lovers. That's where I got my second strike. On that channel. Hence why I couldn't upload for a year. Yo, did you watch Arsenal West Ham? I don't watch football, personally. I only really have to watch it and work. Hello, random. Actually, nah, it makes sense why tablet's so random. Where are you from? London? Nope, I'm from the north. Liverpool, to be precise. I had heard of the series, yet I have forgotten everything about it. Damn what dementia I get infected with. I feel you, wagon. Yeah, I read it because of the copyright strikes. I was like, you know what, fuck it off. I'm just not gonna carry on watching the anime. Which then I didn't have a fucking choice. Then I decided to go read the manga, and the manga's great. Manga's cute as fuck. Way more horny though. Way more horny. Liverpool's great. Yeah, Liverpool's fantastic. Got hung off a tall ass building there once. What the fuck did you do in Liverpool to get hung off a tall ass building? Leave that. I bet on a cricket match and I won it. Was last ball finish? Fucking hell yeah. How much you win? Hay fever and a hangover are both kicking my ass simultaneously, and I am not thriving for it. Anyway, I feel like it's time to be here. Fuck if I know. I was 4. Fair enough, only a decade ago. You won 350? Fucking bet, tablet. Love to see that for you. Oh, Lord. Well, I just saw my mistake on Instagram. Oh god, they're drunk. Never mind. Hell yeah, gambling is peak. Hey. It's only peak if you win. Oh my god, my burps have been on fucking... They've been on something else today. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Let's get into the fucking business. We love gambling. Y'all concern me greatly. Greatly concern me. Making sure. You have no way. Why? Y'all, everybody should be able to see the channel. Why? Yeah, everyone can view it. No one should be able to send shit, though. Yeah, everyone can view it. They just can't do anything else in it. Whatever. Don't stop gambling until you make 5 times the amount you started with. Fucking Christ. I had to have a heart attack, then everything was fine when I finished cricket. I shit my pants and came back to life happier than ever. Okay. Also, happy Mother's Day, Joshua. Yeah, I sent my mum a funny-ass video. That's all I do. At most, go for 1.5 times. House always wins. That's an easy way to go bankrupt. If you're stupid. Anyway, let's get into the business. 13 minutes in. Nice little breakdown for you all. Maybe at the end of the stream I'll elaborate on what the fuck I was doing with my night last night. But for now, let's get into the actual hot shit. It's Mother's Day today. I'm cooked. Yeah. Chapter 800. Facing the music. A few days had passed in a pleasant tranquility. Eventually, however, time had run out. Nephis had gathered her things to left for the Immortal Flame Manor, leaving Sonny alone. It was a bittersweet feeling. Sweet because he had finally had the house to himself once again. Bitter because, well, Sonny was not sure how he would enjoy his home being so empty anymore. Nevertheless, he had chosen to not follow her to join the rest of the cohort yet. Sonny felt like the looming ball was going to change a lot of things and had to prepare a few contingencies. Did I read this? Yo, something after the last stream? Hi, Hosh. Yeah, I was dual streaming for some fucking reason, so I had to cut it off. Why is Tablet's message not coming up? This is one of those annoying times where I can see the message on screen, but I can't see it on, like, where messages get displayed. So give me a minute. My crown. No. He had to put it down like a dying dog. Fucking Christ, Quibs. Seriously, I can't read what Tabitha put. This is so... Oh, what am I doing? I was gonna kiss the referee and let him... I see what a message didn't send then. Am I late? Nope. Just in time, Green. Also, did I read this yesterday? I felt like I read this yesterday. Anyway. The live chat's there. It's on my screen. I see the live chat. Anyway. Nevertheless, he had chosen not to follow it or join the rest of the cohort yet. Sonny felt like the looming blow was going to change a lot of things. He had to prepare a few contingencies if, for the worst, happened. It was a big possibility that he would be gone for a very long time again. There were several things he had to do just in case. His lecture course at the academy had just started, but at this rate it was under threat of ending prematurely. Sonny has spent some time imparting his students with the best and most essential knowledge he could rely in such a short amount of time. But other than that, there was not much else he could do to prevent his academic reputation from potentially receiving a hit. Luckily, all masters led hectic lives. The administration was long accustomed to the star lecturers disappearing for months without much of a warning. So his case was not unique. His second worry was the Brilliant Emporium. The memory store was already in a difficult position because of the invisible blockade that had prevented Sonny from visiting the Dream Realm and hunting nightmare creatures for half a year. The inventory was running low. In the past 6 months, Sonny had slowly shifted his business in the direction of selling memory versions of mundane items that he had weaved. That was not a straightforward endeavor, however. Sure, the idea of having a toothbrush memory sounded pleasant, but he also had to use a soul shard to create one. Considering how expensive soul shards were in the real world, the price of a simple toothbrush would have just been simply unreasonable. So, after thinking for a while, Sonny had come up with a strategy of shifting his focus from necessities and toiletries to luxury items. That way, he could price them high enough to earn more than the price of the soul shard. Rich clients already had access to mundane items in the Dream Realm due to their connections to Masters and Saints, but they were willing to pay a lot for the convenience of having various luxuries readily at hand. Top Jap blocks out some messages. Huh. Shall I put an update in the Discord server? Maybe? Yeah, fuck it. Thanks, Nightjet. I'll try and sort out the YouTube issue in a minute for the Discord server. So Sonny had spent a few painstaking... Sonny spent a few days painstakingly creating an excessively large batch of these extravagant memories and then met them with Aikyo to transfer them. After thinking for a while, he gave her a strange set of instructions. Sonny wanted the Brilliant Emporium to stock up on as many memories that provided either warmth or resistance against the cold as possible. The second priority went to the memories that could be served as a source of light, which were usually cheap and plentiful. He also told Akio to sell every soul shard they had left. The reason behind this decision was simple. The approaching disaster in Antarctica, once the government announced the voluntary mobilization, a lot of people were going to need equipment for themselves for the harsh realities of the polar night. The large amount of opening gates would also flood the market with soul shards, probably crashing the prices to a certain extent. In any way, Sonny hoped that the Brilliant Emporium would survive for a while thanks to these measures, should something happen to the ball. Lastly, there was Rain. His sister was going to turn 16 in a few months, which meant that Sonny had very little time to prepare her for the potential first nightmare. On the other hand, there was not a lot of things left that he could teach her. Of course, Rain still had a lot of room to improve, but in that stage, Sunny's presence was only of a marginal use. What she really needed to do was to truly internalize and assimilate the skills and knowledge that he had already imprinted it to her. While Sunny could help his sister along, most of the work had to be done by Rain herself. Still, he used the last week before the ball to the fullest extent. The teenage girl might have been sour about how intense these lessons suddenly became, but it was for her own good. She was already better prepared to face the first nightmare than he had been by far. Ooh, something came up in my abdomen then. Oh boy. Hi Sam. I think you've already read that. Yeah, okay. I'm not stupid then. If you made a toothbrush into a memory, it would regenerate the toothpaste with enough time, or not. Would you implement the toothpaste onto the memory? Like make a toothbrush, toothpaste, wombo combo? It feels familiar. Endless spring water doesn't have water naturally, but toothpaste does. Do you think if Sunny was able to swap out the inner mechanisms of the spring water, like the endless spring water with alcohol, would it just be a perpetual stream of alcohol then? If that's the case, then yeah, I think Sunny would be able to create a toothbrush with automatic toothpaste. And at that point, that's worth the soul shard money. If the spell made it, it probably automatically do that. Okay, fair. If Sunny made it into a memory, it would not regenerate. That's a bit bogus. That's ass. Unless he enchanted it that way. Which I'm assuming is going to be incredibly fucking hard to do. That's fair. That's fair, then. Whether or not that would be enough, he did not know. Other than these three things, there was not a lot for Sunny to do. He prepared his home to go into conversation mode in case he did not return from the ball. He restocked the covetous coffer. I'm never in the history of doing these streams going to be able to pronounce this correctly. Ever. I know that's not how you pronounce it. I'm never going to be able to do it correctly, though. And that's booty cheeks. With various supplies for a long expedition, Sunny fought against Satan to clean off the rust of his battle instincts. He tinkered with his memories for a bit, trying to improve them. All of these preparations might have been for nothing, but Sunny was more willing to be wrong than to be unprepared. Finally, the fateful day came. Wincing at the thought of how much money he had spent on that thing, Sunny donned the stylish black suit and briefly looked at himself in the mirror. The bespoke attire had been made into a luxury establishment that had served many prominent legacies and incorrupted the most rare and durable materials, many of them coming from the dream realm. The suit was made in the style of many awakened preferred, existing somewhere between the modern fashion and the more antiquated aesthetic that memories adhered to. It was elegant and fitting, including the stylish half cape and tall leather boots. Even though Sunny said a few strong words to Kai during the fitting, now that he looked at himself, he could not deny that he looked rather good. Sunny lingered for a few moments and then sighed. Let's face the music, I guess. With that, he briefly circulated essence through the coils of Soul Serpent, wrapping 3 of the 4 shadows around his body and walked outside. His carriage, in the form of a luxury PTV, was already waiting. I'm like 99% sure I reread that chapter. It's covetous. It's covetous. But I pronounce it wrong. When I say it out loud, I know I pronounce it wrong. And I don't know how. Because I know how it's said in my head. It's just when I'm reading it all along like one straight line, my brain just fucking freezes and the dyslexia takes over. Hi, Sick. New chapter is a POV swap. How daring of G3. Quib, you unemployed degenerate. Quib is a child. Let's not forget that. Quib is, in fact, a child. Yeah, you've read it? Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just stupid, then. Chapter 801. Distinguished Guests. 5 of them sat inside the sleek PTV, watching as the streets of the city flew by. Sonny was not the only one who had donned an extravagant suit. Cal was wearing one even more stylish attire, radiating so much grace and elegance that the interior of the moving vehicle seemed almost electrified. Cassie had chosen a simple but flattering gown of a soft color. Her bracelets and jewelry were picked to match the silver half mask that she had worn like a crown. The familiar blue-green cloak was draped around her shoulders. She was holding the quiver dancer by the scabbard, as if it was a cane. That's cute. That's funny. What do you want? Where'd you go? Oh. My cat just popped up right next to me. Just on time for the new chapters. Yep. Also, hi, Harlem. Am I wrong, though? You're not wrong. You're just judging a child for being unemployed. And that's weird. Effie wore a white tunic with a tasteful gold accent. There was a golden lorette resting on her head. Similar bracelets and anklets accentuating the sheath. Her olive skin and toned physique, she looked like an ancient goddess. The huntress seemed to be enjoying herself as she sipped champagne from the tall glass. I'll say it, Effie's definitely the person to drink champagne straight from the bowl. Straight from the bowl. You know she loves that shit. Antarctica Loki, my favorite arc. I'm hoping it will become mine. When is your cat ranking up, Josh? I have no idea. Probably by the time of, like, August. August is when Helios will level up. September is when Zeus will level up. October for Ophi and Adonis, and when was Rhea born? I think Rhea was born in the summer, so June. So quite a while for Autumn to level up. Never chose to wear her more practical attire, which was nevertheless equally splendid. Her nightly suit consisted with a black trousers, a black doublet with silver embroidery, and a pristine white cape. The simple brand of the Crown of Dawn accentuated the steely grey of her striking eyes. Her hands, clad with white gloves, rested calmly on her knees. As all of Sonny's worries about how pompous he looked in his expensive suit disappeared. Compared to the others, he almost looked underdressed. Was there really any time to worry about appearances anyway? Looking at the members of the cohort, he hesitated for a moment and then asked, "Are you ready?" Nephis glanced at him and then turned back to the window. "It's just a ball." He stared at her for a moment. He grinned and then he laughed. "Oh, indeed. Indeed." Soon the PTV left public streets and entered the road that led to a stronghold of the Valor clan. Although the main seat of power was situated in the Dream Realm, is safely protected by the great walls of the legendary Bastion, the family obviously maintained several prominent properties in the Waking World. This one resembled a hybrid between the embassy and the sprawling fortress. The complex took enough area in the center of the city to be considered a separate district. Fucking hell! And encompassed a multitude of buildings. Most of them were a few stories high. More floors, of course, were situated underground, where the bulk of the activity took place. That's bonkers. That's insane. The best audiobook out so far. You're doing a great job. You made me re-listen to Shadow Slave. Great job, man. Hey, I convinced my friend to read Shadow Slave recently, actually. I was explaining how the actual power system worked, and she was like, fucking what? I was like, yeah, no, it's sick as shit. And I was explaining how flaws are intentional for the world and how it's actually very deep and complex to the actual person itself. She fucked with it. She's currently on chapter 50. Got a message like an hour before stream. Sent me a message being like, I'm 50 chapters in, because that's the web novel limit before you have to start paying. Fucking adores it. Adores it so far. She loves Sunny. Is there an official audiobook? Yes, Pocket FM is the official one. There was a collab with some weird semi-AI, semi-people read app and where you have to buy chapter by chapter. Fuck that. What I do to read Shadow Slave again for the first time? Oh my god, read Shadow Slave for the first time again. The first couple parts of the Audible, and then you have to keep buying. Who? My mate Moll. Lovely woman. Lovely little lesbian. 50 chapters until paid is crazy. Well, yeah, web novel fucking sucks. It's ass. What doesn't suck is all 19 of you hitting the like button. All 19 of you. I see the views. G3 has to make money somehow, I guess. Yeah, like, they're paying him. There's a reason he's making his book physical before it's even finished. The purpose of the buildings range from serving as a residence for the members of the clan and retainers to training centers for the household troops. Research facilities dedicated to various applications of spell tech and everything in between. Just like Nephis had said, a legacy clan was not just a handful of people united by bloodline. It was a large organization that, in case of the clan Valor, included thousands upon thousands of people from all walks of life. A fortress was also housed... Oh my god, the saliva is fucking killing me. The fortress was also housed vaults in where sleeping pods of the Awakened were either belonged or to be served the Great Clan were located. So security measures were nothing short but exaggerated. Sunny himself could see and feel plenty of sentries, both mundane and possessing greater powers. Judging by the sight frown that appeared on Kai's face, there were plenty more that he had failed to notice. The complex was fully prepared to face any kind of attack. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You good? You good, baby girl? You just walking around, waiting for Ophi to have her kittens. Meet Helios, by the way. And Zeus, right behind me. You can see him, right there. Hi, Zeus. You want to be stroked next? Yeah, I bet you do. Come on. Ah, you little fucker. You're getting cuddles, bitch. You're getting cuddles. Don't you dare bite my wire, you cheeky fuck. Ah, Zeus! You little fuck. He's knocking over shit. Anyway. The Shadow Slave power system is the combination of the cultivation and lit RPG power systems, and it's really well done. Yeah, the Greek mythology names, huh? Zeus looks perpetually angry. That's his dad. Like, that, it's Adonis to a fucking T. It's actually quite scary. He's growing really quickly as well. Which isn't helping. Excuse me. My own story is interpreted by Shadow Slave and Lord of the Mysteries. Well, he does throw lightning, so that tracks. Amen. The house was fully prepared. Yeah, the complex was fully prepared to face any kind of attack. Be it a manifestation of a nightmare gate or a sudden assault penetrated by the forces of rival clans. On one hand, that made Sonny feel safe. On the other hand, escaping the stronghold would not be easy. Let's hope I won't need to. Other than that, the aesthetics of the complex were very pleasing to the eye. There was plenty of trees and tall grass around. The architecture that did a great job of hiding the utilitarian and militaristic design of the sprawling fortress. In fact, Sonny did not know any better. He would have thought that he was in the middle of a blissful garden district that was meant for people to relax in a peaceful tranquility. Living there must have been very nice. Chances were he would have the opportunity to experience that life rather soon. Yeah, as if that would happen. Sonny glanced at Nephis and then turned away. His face darkened. A few minutes later, the PTV approached the center of the complex, where the ground structure stood, illuminated by the bright spotlights. He felt a bit at awe when he had noticed that it was built of stone blocks similar to those of the bastion itself consisted of. This hinted at the fact that the stones were brought to the waking realm from the dream realm. That's insane. Not much. Just left for the ball, Magikarp. Magikarp? Hey, Magikarp's here. How are you, bud? How you doing, buddy? My story is inspired by RTOC, LOTM, RI, Shadow Slave, not ORV, Dobitai. Yeah, you don't miss much, but don't worry. Where is he? Considering that not only powerful masters and saints could transport matter between the two worlds, the cost of the Great Hall was nothing short of astronomical. He could hardly imagine a more impressive and effective proclamation of wealth and power. The great clan really knew how to set the stage. The walls of the hall were decorated by vermilion banners that stretched from the roofs to the very ground, each bearing an image of an anvil pierced by a sword. A red carpet led to the ground stairs and the road where a row of similar luxury PTVs were parked, slowly moving as their distinguished passengers disembarked. A neat row of uninformed honored guards stood at the sides of the red carpet, forming a little corridor through which the guests had to walk before they had reached the entrance. Everything about them screamed of discipline and power. These soldiers alone were enough to protect the people invited to the ball from most dangers. Not that the guests needed any protection, although there were very few high-ranking mundane humans among them. Most were either promising awakens or masters. There were even saints here, which made Sonny feel rather uncomfortable. If there was one group of people in the city he really wouldn't want to provoke, it was those attending the ball. Sonny felt like a little fish being thrown into a tank full of hungry sharks. He could probably fight off oh my fucking Christ, I can't read! He could probably fight off or at least escape from one of these sharks, but all of them together? Still, I'm not without sharp teeth myself. Finally, the PTV reached the vermilion carpet. Sonny waited for the door to open and then sighed and stepped inside. My brother in Christ, I have not struggled that much to read out loud in a fucking minute. Ah! And those dumbasses are fucking drunkenly screaming, so give me a minute. Because all I hear is them. Fuck me, all it is screaming, screaming, screaming. Insomnia is killing me. I've been up for about 30 hours, but now I can't sleep no matter how hard I try. Fair. Me for real. My condolences, I feel you. I recently managed to fall asleep better, but somehow messed it up, so now I'm knocked out during the day. But nice, Josh is reading us a bedtime story. Sleep well. It's an alarm clock for me. my notifications of streaming my dyslexic ass reading this story. They finally shut the fuck up. My God. Back! They were just screaming. I couldn't be asked with y'all hearing that as well. Over a fucking jacket. Was you surprised by the reform landslide? I was. Massively. But that is a good thing right now. And it's a good thing for plenty of reasons. One, it means the general power is already fallen down massively. Because the Lib Dems are rivaling them. And fucking Labour, which is hilarious. When, like, 3 months ago, if this was taking place, not even that, like 5 months ago, if this kind of election took place, they would have won by a landslide. Because it wasn't a real landslide. Also, it's by districts. So each, like, district is ran by several fucking towns. And because Reform won so many, but didn't get any, like, major seats anywhere, pretty much, they're spread so fucking thin like a violin string. So effectively, they can't do shit. Which is the good thing. But Manchester, Brighton, and London, which are the 3 major cities of the UK, were all massively predominantly green to begin with. So who cares? And also how much Green got. If people weren't split between 2 or 3 parties, Reform would probably not be a thing. Is this British politics? Yep. But the Greens have also very much distincted themselves away from, like, Labour. So, the fact they got as many seats as they did, which, by the way, other than Reform, was the highest jump in any form of politics history, is insane. I'm not British, I just like watching the world's countries do flips politically. Yeah, it's kind of fun, but it's kind of not at the same time because I live here. So if Nazis get in the fucking party, if the what is essentially the British Nazi party get into power, I might have to just go out my way to kill a couple people. I'll do it. Not afraid to kill a Nazi here and there. Anyway, sorry for the delay. 8:02, a feast of deceit. Nephis walked forward with her usual impressive confidence. It was as though the magnificence of the towering hall, the rows of armored clan-honored guards, and the distinguished guests surrounding them did not deserve her attention, let alone apprehension. Her face was still and unscrutable. Her eyes were cold and focused. As the rest of the cohort followed behind her, Sonny couldn't help but feel uneasy. Right now, he was especially frustrated with his lacking ability to read her mood. He just hoped that Changing Star was not going to try and assassinate the member of Valor clan as soon as she saw them. No way, she wouldn't. Right? I think most Brits view the Greens as too radical, so they'll never gain real power. They're not even radical, though. That's the issue. It's the same thing as Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn's not radical. He's a fucking centrist at best. It's just that the British people, I can't stress enough, are fucking so dumb. All the British people are so hilariously stupid. It's pathetic. It's really fucking pathetic. And they're meant to know how to read. And yet they can't read manifestos? Fuck off. I wish Sonny was more disgreetful in the last chapter. I'm not gonna ask. You said last chapter. The arrival caused a bit of a stir. Many eyes were suddenly distracted as the 4 members of the cohort, but it was nothing compared to how many people were staring at Nephis. either openly or in secret. She did not pay them any attention, so Sonny looked straight ahead and pretended to not care either. Of course, he was tentatively studying everything and everyone around them through his shadow. Somehow, he felt as if he had to return to the Red Colosseum. Sonny almost expected the people surrounding them to start chanting "Glory!" at any second. Of course, that did not happen. The cohort walked up the stairs and entered the Grand Hall, where they were led to massive doors that carved a familiar wood. As the doors opened into a vast chamber full of exquisitely dressed people, a loud-voiced hap announced, "Lady Changing Star of the Immortal Clan, Ascended Song of the Fallen, Ascended Raised by Wolves, Ascended Nightingale, and Ascended Sunless." For a moment, every conversation in the hall paused. Everyone turned around to look at the new arrivals. Sonny frowned. The amount of pressure that crashed into him was enough to make a mundane person kneel. But it was not that the guests were consciously exerting it. It was just a side effect of so many people being gathered in one place. At first glance, he identified nearly 100 masters and a handful of saints in the crowd, with each of the letters basically glowing like a beacon of power in a sea of people, surrounded by a small island of empty space. A very large chunk of humanity's defenses capabilities was gathered in the hall. If Sonny was pressured, then Nephis must have felt as if the mountain landed on her. And yet she did not bat an eye. A wave of whispers, barely audible in a harmonious hum of relaxing music. "It's what? Changing Stars here. Look, it's Her Highness of the Immortal Flame." Even among the absolute elites, Neff's status was immense enough to create that commotion. The other four members got a lot of attention too, but as the brightest stars of the youngest generation, as the bright star of the young generation of awakened, both the SS designations and the rapid speed of their ascension made them noteworthy people. Subjected to hundreds of glazes, Nephis suddenly curtly and walked towards the table that offered drinks and refreshments. As she did, the arrival of the other guests was announced, causing the excitement of the crowd to subside a little. Sonny felt incredibly awkward. "So, what do we do now?" Guy smiled, simply. "Wrong way around, dumbass. We don't have to do anything, really. Before the host arrives and commences the bowl, usually we use the time to walk around and socialize, but in this case, there's no need. Everyone will come to us, so enjoy yourself. Smile and answer politely if someone addresses you." Sonny shifted his shoulders. "That is terrible advice. What was he supposed to... I dropped my water. How was he supposed to enjoy himself and smile, knowing what was at stake? As for being polite, politeness only often required a person to lie. What was he supposed to do if someone asked him a question that demanded a rude answer? Luckily, he had nothing to fear. Very soon, a stream of people started to approach them, somehow making it seem as if they were all just happening to walk by. However, all their attention was concentrated on Nephis. Barely anybody spared a moment to chat with the other members of the cohort, and even then, Sonny was the last in line, which suited him fine. "Lady Changing Star, it was an honor to meet you. You made us all proud, young lady. I'm actually friends with your grandfather. I once fought a battle aside with your parents. The memory of the valiance was forever entrenched into my heart." Oh, brother, there's a lot of chat that I fucking missed. Walking into the home of your enemies, that's just... CEOs, leaders, they're all morons. America is a coin doing flips every election cycle. I'd argue that the unfortunately are not morons, just acting in their self-interest, which, for fuck's sake, which will fuck everyone else over, because they got power. Yeah, that's how power usually works with hungry people. Selfishness isn't a tool that these morons can't wield. Oh boy, this is a conversation I was not expecting to be fucking glancing over from chat. Everyone wanted to, if not become friends, then at least establish a connection with the daughter of the hollowed clan that seemed to be raising from the ashes. Nephis remained calm, conversing with the great and powerful people that approached her in a neutral but slightly stifled tone. Sunny could not feel the flames burning in her soul growing hotter and hotter, however. She was filled with a masterful suspense rage. Well, he would be too. All these well-wishers could not wait to share the tales of how highly they viewed and admired her parents and grandfather, and yet they had been perfectly fine to do nothing when the Immortal Flame Clan needed help. None of them raised a hand to help Nephis when she was young, weak and hunted by assassins of the hidden rulers of the Awakened Society. It was only now that she had become ascended, and an absolute outstanding one at that they remembered past friendships and tried to integrate themselves to her. Their smiles and pretty words were worthless. Their friendships was worthless. It was all a big charade. Sunny observed the elites with a bit of bewilderment. Were they all such shameless liars? Or did they actually believe their own lies? In any case, this feast of the street was nothing short of delectable. If it was not so an nourishment. After a while, he suddenly felt a cold shiver running down his spine. Turning his head slightly, Sunny noticed a familiar face. An adequately beautiful woman in dazzling dress, the color of red wine, was approaching them. She was full of grace and elegance, with a supple figure and full scarlet lips. Her almost striking figure, however, was her skin. It was a grey like stormy clouds, smooth like silk, and devoured any imperfections. The woman smiled, revealing perfectly even, pearly teeth. Lady Nephis, I'm glad to see you again. Changing Star looked at her and lingered for a moment, and then she said, Seishin, I am glad to see you as well. I thought it was Morgan for a minute, I can't lie. Yeah, acting and everyone's self-interest works too. There's a CEO in Washington or Oregon that I forget was paying everyone in the call center $60K because the business went down during COVID, and he had to cut everything. Ironic, we discussed politics in a politics-related chapter. One to like 21K made a promise to pay back as possible. It's my fault. I brought up politics, even if briefly. Nah, don't worry about it, dude. What the magic card drop? Well, last time we saw Seishin she was introducing Morgan into the family of Song. So, fuck knows, she's trustworthy. Nah, to be fair, she probably doesn't know all that much about what Morgan's done. Morgan? Mordred. Introducing Mordred to the family, so. Who knows? Anyway. Chapter 803. Friendly reminder. Seishin, the former lieutenant of the Bright Lord Goomlog and the leader of the Handmaids, was standing in front of them with a calm smile. Sunny did not see her after the tumultuous escape of the Forgotten Shore, where she had the land of the commander of the 2nd Defense bulwarked as the Dreamer Army. He had thought that becoming a master would make him less susceptible to her presence, but it did not. Her striking beauty, her exotic looks, and the aura of mystery that surrounded Seishin were just as compelling as ever. The knowledge of how frightening her true nature was also made it impossible for him to remain unaffected, not to mention the most important fact of all. Seishin was one of the adopted daughters of Kisong, the ruler of the Great Song clan, and one of the 3 sovereigns. If anything, knowing more about her background only made Sunny pay the beautiful woman extra attention. What the hell was she doing here? Seishin, meanwhile, looked at the other members of the cohort, and with a small but seemingly sincere smile, Athena, Kai, and Cassie. Sunless, it is good to see you're all doing well too. Cassie gave her a long look and shrugged. Likewise, how have you and your girls been? After the return of the Forgotten Shore, half the members of the former Dreamer army had decided to follow Cassie and become known as the Firekeepers. The other remaining half, most had chosen a different path, either remaining independent like Sunny and Akio, or joining various legacy clans. All the surviving handmaidens, however, followed Titian back to Song. And just like that, the Great Clan had not only received its lost daughter back, but also earned an utmost loyal. But it also earned the utmost loyalty of a dozen extremely promising recruits. Come to think of it, that might have been one of the reasons why Valor wanted to gain the alliances of the Firekeepers so badly. A group of exceptional and seemingly battle-hardened Awakened might have not been able to change the balance of the power between the two great clans immediately, but in a few years, when the survivors of the Dreamer army started to become masters, or maybe even saints, eventually that could easily change. Season responded in a serious tone. We're all doing well. My clan embraced them with open arms after reuniting with my sisters. I was also able to bring a lot of value to the Song family with my unique knowledge and experience. The long years I've spent on the Forgotten Shore were for naught. Not for naught. She had been stuck in the hell far longer than any of them. In fact, Sunny did not know exactly how many years Sishan had spent in the Dark City exactly, but it might have been as high as 9 or 10. What? How fucking old is she? That's what, right. Okay, never mind. I'm a dumbass then. Well, you mean, the cruise ship virus? I don't think it will spread. It's already spread to like 40 people. And it's in like 5 different sections of the north of England. It's already killed 2 people in the north of England. And it's in Sweden and Norway. And Spain, I think. So, yeah, it will spread. Will it spread as bad as COVID? I don't know. But it's spreading. Old enough to boss me around. This would make her about 27. It would make her 25 at the Forgotten Shore. 25, 26. And if she's on a date with Mordred, then she'd probably entering her 30s. Y'all see the other cruise ship drama? Oh, you mean the pedophile one? How 28 Disney adults were sharing CP with each other? Another lockdown would be nice? Fucking no. No country on this planet can financially support itself from that other than China. At least no one wants to go to the US anymore. We're safe. The norovirus? You mean the Haunter? I think you mean Haunter. Not what I needed to see. Fuck's sake. I clicked the wrong button. Anyone surprised that Disney adults are weird like that? Weird. They were sharing CP. Their own kids. Like, that's not fucking weird. That's a threat. They should be shot dead. Fuck the term weird. What the hell? Yeah, exactly. I don't know about that one. The US is one of the most is the most tourists in the world by a large margin. Only countries that come close is France and Japan. I know it's obviously fucked up, but not surprised at all. Okay, not surprised is fair, but the joke, bit insensitive. It's just a joke about draconian immigration stuff. I know we're also tourists and business visits. I don't know of this. Not that surprising, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not saying it's surprising. I'm saying that it's, like, still fucked. And the fact that Disney's covering up is insane. Anyway, back to reading. Where is it? Might have been as high as 9 or 10. Being able to survive and hold to the power for so long spoke a lot about the resourcefulness and the dangers of the... Oh my fucking god, all they do. Shut up. For as long as they spoke for as long as it spoke a lot about the resourceful and dangerous the daughter of Kisong was, especially considering... Fucking hell. Being able to survive and hold on to the power for so long spoke a lot about the resourceful and dangerous that the daughters of Kisong was, especially considering that, in the end, she was the only one of the old guard who actually had managed to escape. No wonder the Great Clan was so eager to get her back. Sishan looked at him and smiled. Of course, we have yet to achieve the same measure of success the five of you. Reaching ascension so soon after becoming awakened is no small feat. You have my respect. Her smile paled a little. I'll be going away to challenge my own second nightmare in a few days. In a matter of fact, this ball is my last opportunity. I will have to experience the wonders of the Waken World before that. She looked around wistfully and sighed. So, she was in a hurry to become a master, huh? Sonny stared at the grey-skinned beauty with a bit of apprehension. Sishan was already scary enough as an awakened. How much more powerful would she have become as an ascending? Kai offered the former leader of the handmaids a reassuring smile. I'm sure that you and your cohort will do fine. The second nightmare was a terrible challenge, but people who survived the Forgotten Shore are suited to face the dangers more than anyone else. You will triumph. Before Sishan could answer, Nephis finally spoke, looking at the daughter of Song impassively. She said in her usual tone, I have to admit, I'm surprised to see you here. Sishan lingered for a moment. Oh, you must have heard the recent disarmory between Song and Valor. Do not pay too much attention, Lady Nephis. Despite our disagreements, it is still important to present a unified front. I am here to keep up appearances. Changing staff thought for a moment and then added, I understand, you're here to send a message. However, I find it curious that the junior member like you was chosen above a more senior representative of the Great Clan Song. One can't help but to wonder what message exactly such a choice is intended to deliver. Sishan smiled, widened a little. Well, it is not my place to question the decisions of the elders. In any case, I am very happy to get the chance to see you all again. While we were never truly friends, I value what you have done for me in my wards, as well as what we had went through together. A great deal. Her pearly teeth glistened with a bright light of extinguished chandeliers and suddenly seemed much sharper. I hope that we will be able to deepen that bond one day. Of course, whether or not it blossoms into a real relationship depends on our decisions. Sunny sighed. Sishan looked at them one last time. Strangely, her gaze lingered on him for an extra few moments. Then she politely excused herself and left to mingle with other guests at the ball. So, what was that about? Her meaning was more than clear. Clan Song decided to not go as far as making the earnest effort to spoil the negotiations with Valor and try to recruit members of the cohort and the Firekeepers into its ranks instead. However, they did issue a warning, making the right decision if you know it's good for you. Stay away from our rivals, or else. That threat might have been packaged into an exquisitely beautiful cover, but the underlying message remained quite clear. Looking back at Sishan, she was walking away. Sunny shook her head. How did I somehow ended up in politics? By the spell, I didn't. Curses. Why can't a guy just grow stronger than everyone else in the world and unreasonably rich in peace? Valid. Guy went to the bathroom and filmed there, right? What the fuck? Disney adults have always been weird and fucked mentally. Never understood them. Have to disagree. Cost them too much. Get rid of them. A freaky transgender dude who basically averted himself as a Disney dude. We're not getting into anti-trans politics in the chat, are we? If we are, I might have to ban a couple people, because that is not an ideology, nor something I support. To be honest, they should just cut such useless worldly attachments. Okay, Eisen. Or in non-cultivation terms, cease such useless habits. Yeah, we got a little bit of everything in chat. Yeah, fucking apparently. Your first comment was more cultivation terms. Indeed, I use cultivation metaphors from reverted insanity as are useful. That's what I'm wondering, too, Sonny. Whispering Blade, the strongest of all saints. No, we were talking about the creep trans person. Okay, as long as we're not doing any anti-trans rhetoric in chat, I'm fine with that. That coffee. It is my coffee. Trans people are fine. Creepy trans people, however. Creepy people, period. Full stop. Don't need to add more to that sentence. Nothing against trans people in general. I know lovely dudes who were born female and the other way around. Same. Met two yesterday. One of them was weird, but the other one was actually very, very pleasant. And Declan, if you ever see this clip, thank you for being nice. And giving me that bag. It was quite nice. Didn't need a smoke, but took it. It's more the creepy outliers which happen in every demographic. Tarnish the whole group. Yeah. And I can't stress this enough. Dumb fucks see the outlier and go, it's all of them! Get them all! And those people, you need to hang them. Put that simply. You're too stupid to distinguish how fucking numbers work. I don't think you should be able to breathe on this planet. Plain and simple. Chapter 804. Whispering Blades. This sounds like Morgan. A few minutes later, the atmosphere in the Great Hall suddenly changed. The hum of the voices grew quiet, and many of the guests shifted, turning into a particular spot. As Sonny watched, a tall figure appeared in the wide balcony above them. The man was strong and severe, with a sharp face and even sharper, cold eyes. His black hair was touched by the silver at the temples. He was wearing an elegant attire that somehow looked like a suit of impregnable armor, despite being made of nothing but black fabric. His vermilion cloak moved slightly, as if touched by an invisible wind. Aura farming like fucking crazy here. As soon as the man appeared, Sonny felt a considerable pressure descending onto the hall. The dignified stranger radiated too much power and authority that it was hard to not admire him, or fear him. He was a saint, without a doubt. What was more, his features looked slightly like that of a Mordred and Morgan. Ooh, it's Valor! Shit, never mind. For a moment, Sonny thought he was looking at Anvil of Valor himself, but no, that could not be. Although the familiar likeness was there, it was not too pronounced. The mythical sovereign was also not supposed to be able to enter the waking world easily, let alone openly show himself in public. It just goes against everything the sovereigns did to remain in the shadows. This must be Saint Modoc of Valor, also known as the Whispering Blade. Yay, another name. Woohoo. Anvil's brother? Oh! Nice. Useless habits are useless and should be removed. No. No. It's a bum, a minor character. Bum? Bum. Bum. I should never let my instincts take over, ever. Saint Mordok was one of Anvil's siblings and the normal leader of the great clan Valor. Of course, Sonny knew who was truly called the shots, but the status of this man was by no means for show. Whispering Blade was a legendary warrior and one of humanity's most formidable champions in his own right. As the guests quieted down, Saint Mordok looked at them from above, with his steely blue eyes, and smiled slightly. Instantly, the pressure reckoned, and making the mundane humans of the crowd sigh with relief. Morgan's uncle spoke, his strong voice easily reaching into every corner of the Great Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, welcome to the annual ball of the Great Clan Valor. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you all under the roof once again. In the past year, many things have happened. Some of our brothers and sisters are not with us anymore. A somber sound settled over the hall. Every year brought a lot of deaths to awakened and even masses were not spread from that fate. This year in particular had dealt with a heavy blow of humanity. Even though a few knew of what really happened, the abundance of St. Cormac was clearly felt by many. The absence of St. Cormac was clearly felt by many. Transcendents were so exceedingly rare that the loss of even one of them echoed across the world. As the master turned somber, Whispering Blade's smile suddenly widened, dispelling the solemn mood. Despite that, it pleases me to see many new faces among you. Humanity have grown stronger yet again. New heroes have rose to carry the torch of those who had fallen in battle. New champions like these, our world has nothing to fear. Despite it all, we preserve. But more than that, we rise. Nothing can stop our ascension. He looked at the guests and sighed. Well, those of you who know me also know that I am not one for long speeches. To be honest, this one was actually written by my beloved wife, who is far more eloquent and wise than me. Not to mention pleasant to look at. A wave of polite chuckles spread through the crowd. St. Cormac smiled once again. Today is not a day for sorrow. Today is a day for joy. And so, let the ball commence. As soon as he said that, the space in the middle of the hall was cleared and the music started to play, a magnificent and emotional composition. Whispering Braid danced the first dance himself, accompanied by a beautiful, mature woman. Moving with elegance and grace, they both looked breathtakingly splendid. Soon, others joined them. Sonny observed the dance with a bit of interest. He had not known what to really expect from this ball, but his relief was nothing like the awkward and almost comical side that he had witnessed in a nightclub a few nights ago. The dancers were much more poseful and elaborate with their movements. Both partners had to move in synchronicity to not disturb the flow of the dance, following the music with surprising skill. The gracefulness of the steps, the adequate attires, the radiant physical beauty common among the awakened, the luxurious decorations of the Great Hall. All of it made the ball look rather dazzling. He was also able to appreciate the ceremony due to his familiarity with the shadow dance. Of course, his battle style was not a literal dance, however, it was derived from one. In fact, every battle style was something in commotion with dancing, since both had to do with emotion, coordination, agility, and rhythm. So, even if Sonny had never taught how to dance, he was able to quickly learn the basics from just observing those who were better versed in it. He could even join the dances if he wanted to. Of course, he didn't. Oh my god. Yesterday is kicking my ass, still. Anyway. Sonny noticed that the ceremony for men, noticed that the customary for men to invite the women to dance. He also watched that many handsome and distinguished guests offered their hands to their beautiful counterparts and led them to the center of the hall. More than a few burning glazes landed at Nephis, but were quickly doused by her cold, unapproachable expression. Unfortunately, the other members of the cohort were caught in a cone of silence that surrounded her. So no one approached them either. After some time, Kai invited Cassie to dance, while Effie wandered away in the direction the tables were barely standing, burdened by the weight of various delicacies. Sonny, meanwhile, grew bored. Damn, how long do we have to wait for these negotiations to start or what? Eventually, he glanced at Nephis and left her and walked away in search of a bathroom. A few minutes later, he was washing his hands in front of the mirror. Looking into the pale reflections, Sonny lingered for a few moments and said, I know that you're there. Stop hiding. Nothing happened for a few seconds. Then his reflection suddenly offered him a pleasant smile. Oh, how did you know? Hi, Mordred! How you doing, bud? Of course you're here, but like still, what the fuck? If Sishan's here, then he's here. Waiting for those... I watch for those like a hawk, man. I usually read them within a minute of being released. Whoa, 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 whoa. Chat updated very fucking quickly. The hell, Josh? Josh, what the fuck was that? For real. Shh. Touch, touch, touch. We don't acknowledge it. That shit was not the win. Yes, it was. What even happened? Don't tell him he's too young for such burdens, for real. The burdens are only burdens if the ones who carry them are weak. You're a child. You are too weak to understand the burdens of it. Somehow St. Cormac returned. Lit. Jeffrey doing anything but staying on one POV. The first two today were supposed to... Laser. I sniped that shit. Yeah, Harsh just got the crown back. I am the captain now. All hail Captain 07. Going without Mordred would be too good to be true. Alright. I know we shit on Mordred. I like Mordred a lot. I've not had a bad Mordred chapter yet. So, I think that is just me, but still. Instead of Cormac, you said Cormac instead of Modak. Just joking around. I was confused on what comments you were reading. For some reason, comments on the like I just have the comment section like right there. Where yous are there for yourselves, yous are down there. Y'all are technically like there for me. So, and it's just not updating regularly. First mate, off-screen Drit. I am the Mordred Glazer now. It's all banter. He's a nice addition. I don't think the community dislikes him as a character. It's just fun to clown on the fraudulent bum. It might be fun, but I do think it is sometimes a bit too disrespectful. Some characters deserve it, absolutely. Sylvain, she deserves all the hate that she gets. Mordred, no! Nah, I don't get it. Chapter 805, A Conversation with the Mirror. Mirror in the mirror. Ow! When his reflection suddenly spoke, Sonny flinched and jumped back. A startled expression appeared on his face. He stared at the mirror with wide eyes and then cursed and remained silent for a few seconds. Finally, Sonny uttered through his gritted teeth. I did not know. I just developed a habit of saying random rubbish to mirrors in case something like this happened. Who knew that this time you would actually turn up? Mordred, who's disturbingly worn his face, blinked a couple times and then laughed. So it was a bluff? Goodness, I can't believe I fell for this trick. Yeah, I actually can't believe it either. Sonny's reflection shook its head. Sonny himself, who felt incredibly troubled by the sight of his own likeness being inhabited by the Prince of Nothing, sucked the air out of his breath. And then he hissed. What are you even doing here? You have entirely lost your mind. This is the stronghold of Clan Valor. Mordred shrugged. Why? Can't I visit my own clan's ball? Sonny suppressed the desire to palm his face. Not if you want to live. But then again, why would he care if Mordred lived or died? Actually, it would have been wonderful if the troublesome mirror wraith was caught in the ether, destroyed or imprisoned again by the mighty family. Sonny would have one less headache if that did. Unless Mordred decided to trade away his secrets, of course. Damnation! The Prince of Nothing, meanwhile, waved his hand dismissively. Don't worry so much, Sunless. I'm not here to do anything, I just wanted to take a peek at the festivities. No one will notice. Judging by his confident smile, Mordred was sufficiently certain that the statement... at that statement. This probably meant that he had acquired at least one potent anti-deceptive tool. Well, the mere fact that the great and mighty Clan Valor had failed to track him down yet also hinted at that possibility. If not for Sonny's random shot in the dark, no one would indeed have noticed the transcendent reflection. Mordred looked at him and lingered for a few moments. Then he said in a pensive tone, You know, Sunless, for someone who keeps denying his ties with the Great Clans, you sure brush sides with them a lot. Sonny was so outraged that he had lost the gift of speech for a second. And whose fault is that, you bastard? You didn't involve me in your mess. I would have been living happily ever after somewhere else. Well, probably. Mordred awkwardly coughed. Then he regained his composure and said with a bit of a reproach, I already apologized, didn't I? In any case, complications or not, you chose your friends carefully, Sunless. Sonny glared at the reflection for a bit. Am I having deja vu? I swear we've had this exact conversation with someone else a few minutes ago. Did you not just steal Season's body by any chance, did you? Mordred tilted his head. I don't think so. Who's Season? Sonny opened his mouth and then frowned. No, he wouldn't have. The damn lunatic was already being hunted by one of the great clans. Killing an heiress of the other would be no good. An acquaintance of mine. Never mind about her. Mordred smiled. If you say so. I must say, you do have a lot of interesting acquaintances. A curious expression appeared on the reflection's face. That changing star is rather fascinating. To think that the immortal Flame Clan was able to return in such a semblance of the former glory. With the help of a young Dreamspawn, no less. Maybe I should take her body instead. What do you think, Sunless? Should I? He was obviously probably going to get a reaction out of Sonny, but luck was not on his side. Sonny simply shrugged and said indifferently, Be my guest. Or, are you sure it's a little cringe, no? Usually I would not care, but this is an aura moment. Oh lord, what... Well, thanks, Quibs, for whatever comment you deleted. All aura farming is a little cringe. Unless it's solo leveling, which is a lot cringe. I was about to say, let's not be glazing solo leveling here for its aura moments. Especially when it's done right. Oh yeah, aura moments when done correctly are sick as fuck. Escanor was done right. For aura moments, yeah, 100%. Escanor might be the single best aura farmer, I think, in any piece of fiction. Because everything he does is backed up by the simple idea that, compared to the pinnacles, he's like, just there. And he's a man. Mordred Loki, silly thinking he could try. I say he should. Let him try. Spare us some more Mordred. Fucking hell. Anyway. It seemed as if he was absolutely disinterested whether or not Mordred would kill or replace Nephis or not. Of course, he wasn't. Not really. He just thought that the Prince of Nothing would dearly regret trying to consume Changing Star's soul. Not only was she a tyrant, which would make battling her a nightmare, he also suspected that her soul possessed its own formidable defenses. Nephis already hinted at that the lineage of the Sun God strengthened it somehow, but it only accounted for the quality of her force. There was also the quality. Sonny had a hunch that Mordred would be burning himself alive if he tried to invade her radiant soul sea. Wouldn't that be a sight to see? He glanced at his reflection and said coldly, "Is that all you wanted to say? Because if that's it, I have a ball to return to." Then Sonny scoffed and added, "By the way, don't you give any pompous speech about how I should pray to never meet you again. The last time we saw each other, kind of presumptuous of you to go ahead and place yourself straight in my sight in a bathroom of all places." Mordred smiled, paid a little. "Ah, that. I did not forget that, Sunless. Truth be told, I am very peeved about what you had done. Come to think of it, maybe I should do something to lessen my frustration. Say, which one of your friends do you value the least?" Sonny slammed his fist in the mirror, shattering it. Mordred laughed, staring at him with the shards of his face. Sonny's face became distorted by the cracks. "Oh, Sunless. So passionate." His face stared at the broken mirror for a few moments, and then he said through his gritted teeth, "I value all my friends, you bastard. Affection is not something you can assign a numerical number to. And then compared to which number is bigger? Well, you wouldn't know, I guess. Not only do you not care about no one has ever likely cared about you either." He took a step forward and stared directly at his reflection. "You like to talk big, Mordred, and make it seem as if I should be afraid of you. But the truth can be the same the other way around, too. I can be scary when I want to. Think long and think hard before making me your enemy, or you'll learn to fear shadows." What the fuck? Sonny, where did this come from? Think long and think hard before making me your enemy or you'll learn to fear shadows? What the fuck, brother? What the fuck? That's cold. Mordred stopped laughing and looked at him silently for a long moment. His smile slowly disappeared. Yeah, as it should, that was cold as shit. After a few moments of silence, the Prince of Nothing sighed. "We understand each other. Then, let's not become enemies, Sunless. Crushing you won't bring me any joy. Bitch." With that, he disappeared, as if he had never been there. The reflection still looked the same, but the alien presence seemed to be gone from it. All that remained was the broken, distorted anger image of Sonny. He grimaced and turned away. "We'll see who crushes whom, bastard, if the time comes." Fucking. What the fuck? It got me hooked to the first session. Anyway, I'm about to dip and eat. The rest of y'all don't take my crown while I'm away. Bye, Harsh. Sonny got an aura moment. I think that's the first aura moment from Sonny in a long, long time. Sonny spit in bars. I told you the aura moment was gonna hit hard. He's tired of Mordred's bullshit and just putting his foot down. That's my man. Great moment. Can't have reflections in any darkness. True that. Sonny wants all the smoke. I told y'all this on the fucking rankings. When I said Sonny has no business being scared of Mordred, I fucking meant it. I fucking meant it, brother. Yeah, he can't hurt Mordred in any shape, way, or form. He does not even know whom or how many he is. It was lovely. Still a great speech. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was fantastic. A dance of light and shadow. 806. 989 words. Ooh. Are we gonna get a little bit of a Sonny and Nephis? You know, doing a little bit of a dance. That's gonna be sweet. I almost said the wrong S word. In all seriousness, that was like one of the fucking best speeches I've ever seen in my life. That was awesome. Chapter 806, A Dance of Light and Shadow. After returning to the dance hall, Sonny saw it in a new light. His perspective had shifted, making everything seem darker and more dangerous. He'd already been apprehensive about the crowd of guests, but now every one of them looked like a potential threat. Mordred might have said that he was not planning to do anything and that it just came to take a look, but could the banished prince be trusted? As far as Sonny was concerned, the lunatic could have been on his way to publicly assassinate one of his relatives, or slaughter as many as he could right now. Much worse. Shut up! Oh my fucking god. Much worse, he could be hiding inside of anyone. Every guest was a potential host. Every mundane human, every awakened, every master. None of them was beyond suspicion. Even saints weren't off the list, perhaps. Sonny suppressed a groan. Cancel all. Nightmare has invaded the dreams first, though. Can't hurt what you can't find. Bloody hell. There were two more carriers of divine aspect holders in the world that he had made it their life goals to destroy the Great Clan Valor at all costs, and now both of them were in this building. Even if nothing happened, the threat alone made him itchy. The Great Clan were dozens of beautiful pairs of dancers suddenly did not look as splendid. Turning around, Sonny saw Nephis, lingering for a few moments and then walked in her direction, steady steps. As he came close, he offered her a hand and asked, "Shall we dance?" Nephis looked at him confused for a couple seconds, then shrugged and placed her hand on his. So confident, honestly, I get it. I get it. This is the level of confidence I've not seen from Sonny in a minute. I get it though. After what just happened, understandable. Together, they walked into the middle of the hall. Sonny put his second hand on her waist when she put hers on his shoulder. Suddenly, they were extremely close to each other. Sonny's heart skipped a beat. It was in a moment like this that he missed having two. Without wasting any time, Sonny led Nephis to the dance. And it wasn't too hard. He just had to listen to the music and repeat what the other dancers were doing. With this, his proficiency in shadow dancing, understanding the logic between the cadence and their movements, was incredibly easy for him. Although Sonny was dancing for the first time in his life, he looked more comfortable and adept to it than most of the guests. Changing stars seemed like a natural too. Perhaps it was due to her own combat mastery, or perhaps she had received lessons as an heiress of the Legacy clan. In any case, almost instantly after they started dancing, the pair caught a lot of admiring stares. Sonny did not care. He had much bigger problems on his mind. Trying to not let her closeness affect him too much and falling for it. He waited for a bit and gathered his thoughts. Finally, Sonny said, his voice drowned by the music and the hum of the great hall. "I've been meaning to ask." The time to hide his head in the sand was over. Nephis silently raised an eyebrow, prompting him to continue. I know there's going to be a conversation about the Great Clans. I know it is. I'm just not prepared for the whiplash I'm currently going through. Show us your moves, boy. What exactly are you planning to do today? You know that Valor won't take no for an answer. They want to have us all, and if that's not possible, they'll only settle for getting at least one. That way, they will be assured that the rest of us won't join the rival faction. So, which one of us is going to become a retainer for the Great Clan Valor? Changing Star lingered for a while, allowing him to lead her to the dance. Her hand rested easily on his shoulder. After a few steps, she suddenly asked, "You don't really understand, do you?" Sonny did not frown, but his eyes suddenly became darker. "I don't. What is it that you think I don't understand?" A somber expression slowly appeared on her face. Valor and Song are not rival factions, Sonny. They're war camps. As they spun under the light of beautiful chandeliers, she leaned closer and said, "I've studied the facts for a long time after returning to the waking world. the ripples caused by the death of, say, Cormac, the subtle mechanics that happened in the darkness, the growing imbalance of power between the Bastion and Ravenheart, even the timing of Seashan challenging the second nightmare, it all paints a clear picture. A silent scowl appeared on Sonny's face. What are you trying to say? Nephis sighed. I'm trying to make you see that the conflict between the great clans have grown into something much more than a mere disagreement. They're at war, or rather, they will be soon. Sonny felt her hand growing tense in his own. War? Wait, what does the war between the great clans even look like? Nephis, changing star, shook her head. Something like that's never happened before, so who knows? 3 things are certain, however. It will be hidden. It will be bloody, and it will claim the lives of many people. Suddenly, he felt cold. Damn legacies. Antarctica's about to fall into... Antarctica's about to soon, and they choose that exact moment to lunge into each other's throats? Bastards! Sonny remained silent for several steps, and then he looked at Nephis intently. Alright, but what does that have to do with us? Nephis suddenly gripped his shoulder tighter and met his gaze. Cold, dangerous, white sparks were dancing in her eyes. Don't you see? This has everything to do with us. Sonny stopped himself from snarling. I don't, Nephis. Whether the great clans are embroiled into a war or not doesn't change anything. We are still too small and weak to openly oppose them. Please tell me what you understand. Please tell me that you understand that. You were the one that said that these people were too strong, that their power was too absolute. Changing Star stared at him for a while, her face turning impassive. After a few moments of silence, she said, I remember. I understand. She looked down and added, which is why the answer to your question might not be what you want to hear, Sonny. You asked me which one will become a member of the great clans. Nephis raised her head and looked at him straight in the eyes, and then said evenly, It's me. I will join Valor. Nephis. Nephis. Right. Yeah, the autistic. Yeah, autistic indeed, fumbling that bad as Changing Star. Ugh, let's talk. Are we ready for the Nephis autistic confession? What? And separate again. They're a pair of fucking idiots. I can't stand them. Let's do this. Chapter 807, From Within. When Sonny stared at Nephis, when Sonny heard what Nephis had to say, he almost stepped on her foot. His rhythm was broken, making it difficult to remain on the floor of the dance. He narratively avoided stumbling, regaining his composure and threw a burning glaze at her. What? Her expression did not change. You heard me. Sonny opened his mouth, lingered for a moment, and then simply turned around and pulled her by the hand. Despite the fact that many people stared at this sudden turn of events, he cut through the dancing guests, forcing Nephis to follow. They left in the middle of the Great Hall and then disappeared from the central chamber entirely. Finding himself in a corridor that ran along the length of the dancing hall, Sonny walked swiftly, searching for an empty room. Eventually, he had to settle for the kitchen of sorts. Several chefs and their assistants were busy preparing more refreshments for the guests of the ball, or rather, they had been. Before Sonny had entered the room, the shadows inside suddenly moved and grew darker, startling the kitchen staff. Throwing a heavy glance at them, he said in an even voice, Leave. The chef stared at the two masters in confusion for a few moments, and then looked back at them in a different door, their faces pale. Sonny and Nephis were left alone. Cold. He waited for a moment, but then let go of her hand and outstretched his own. A strange flute carved in emerald bone appeared from the swirls of sparks. Sonny had brought it to his lips and blew into its hole. Surprisingly, no sound came out of the flute. Instead, it seemed to absorb all sound, enveloping them in a cone of silence. Now, no one would be able to listen to their conversations. Sonny's shadows kept watch outside the kitchen to make sure. Finally, he turned to Nephis and snarled. You joined Valor? What the hell? Changing Star sighed and then took a step back and leaned against the wall. Then she spoke in her usual calm and steady voice. Why are you surprised? Sonny stared at her in stunned silence. Then he shook his head. What about your great goals? After all that crazy stunt you pulled, after all the talk about wishing to bring the three ghouls to their knees and destroy them, and you're going to join them? Nephis' eyes grew somber. My plans did not change, Sonny. He frowned. So you're going to destroy Valor, but you're also going to become one of their own? Don't you see the contradiction? Hi, Ophi. You good? Live spam posted for the first time in a while. Oh no. Right. Autistic blowtorch versus autistic Vanta black paint. Her autism ranking up for sure. She looked at him intensely, and then said with boiling but suppressed emotion in her voice, "There is no contradiction. On the contrary, this is the only way I can advance my goals." Nephis took a step forward and pierced him with a glaring stare. The Sovereigns are indeed too strong. The power is indeed too fearsome, and I am truly too weak to contend with them. For now. However, they will fall to my hands in the end. Did you hope that the 2 years of being lost in the dream realm would have dulled my resolve? Do you think I would have given up? Sonny shook his head with a dark expression. Changing Star smiled. No. My resolve was only made sharper. I spent so many days, so many nights thinking about how to move forward and bring these old monsters down. It was not too hard to realize that my own strength is not enough. I have to borrow it from someone else. And whose strength should I borrow it then? But that was so obvious. If the Sovereigns were so powerful, why would I not use their own power to destroy them? Sonny blinked slowly. So, divide and conquer is your great plan? Nephis shrugged. They were already divided. I have to thank you for that, by the way. Although the conflict between Valor and Sung had been brewing for a long time, the sudden appearance of the Dream Army had made it worse. Or the most by the death of Saint Cormac and the return of the banished Prince of War was what finally made it intolerable for the great clans. He scowled. Wait, what does Mordred have to do with any of this? Changing Star smiled darkly. He was in the same position as me, which meant that he would do the same thing. He would have sought out a way to use one of the Sovereigns against the other two. Sonny's eyes widened. Mordred had a vendetta against his two fathers, both the one who had spawned him and the one who had raised him. That left only. Don't tell me that lunatic's gonna join forces with the Sung clan. Nephis nodded with satisfaction. She's happy he's not stupid, just a little stupid. Really stupid, but not too stupid. Sonny's understanding that there's levels to this shit. Sonny should have realized there's levels to this shit, since, he's in the game. I would be surprised if he had not already. And if I can come to the conclusion, that means that Valor knows as well. Why do you think the strife between the two clans had suddenly grown so dire? Valor had fewer saints, thanks to Seishan. Valor had fewer promising awakening seeds. And now, one of the most formidable creations had joined the hand of the adversary. How do you think they'll react? Sonny looked at her grimly. Not well. Changing Star lingered for a few moments and nodded. But that's what puts me in a unique position. Yes, I am small and weak. Yes, my individual strength is more than less insignificant. However, because of the disadvantage the Great Clan Ballet is, they'll desperately need me. My value in the situation is disproportionate to what it is on the otherwise. Which is why they are ready to put aside the desires to see me dead, and are willing to embrace me instead. Sonny scoffed. And that's all great, but why would you want to embrace them too? Wouldn't it be better to stay away, watch the two clans maul each other, and then swoop in to finish the weakened victor? Nefer shook her head. No matter how much one of the Great Clan weakens, its armor is still too strong and impenetrable for me to break it through. He raised an eyebrow. So what? Ginger Star looked at him, cold white flames dancing in her eyes. So I won't try to. Instead, I'm going to bypass the armory and attack them from within. Helios, I need you to come here, boy. Girl, even. I'm gonna need you to stay at my bedroom for a couple hours. For the love of God, Ophi, do not have kittens on my bed. For the love of God, do not have kittens on my bed. Will you just behave? Despicable. Just keeping your seat warm, Cap, and I can't speak for Sig. Oh, when did Harsh come back? Sig come back. Loki, how does the EXP system even work? No idea. I caught you lacking, so I had to take the spot. We have the same EXP. It never put me on top. No idea, but it seems to award at random. It's surely no frequency in messages. Lord, we do indeed. Your cat's pregnant? Heavily, yeah. Cats be like that. And the ordering is so random. Yeah, the ordering to anything regarding YouTube chat's weird. Because Sake's number 1, Arlen's number 2, and Harsh is number 3. But I don't know who's number 4, and Magikarp's number 5. Like, you make sense of that. Like, Nightshade's barely in the top 10. And Failure Wagon's at 6. Like, none of it makes sense. I'm 4. Yeah, you're 4. You're above Magikarp, which makes no sense. Chapter 808. A long-awaited conversation. Oh. This is gonna be weird. Not even mentioning me. Brother, I don't even know where you are. You're not even on here. Yeah, you're not even in the ranking system. And I think that's because you're mod, to be fair. But, still. Am I even number 6? I've said like 5 words. Failure? I don't know. I don't think mods can be on board. I always get chat XP slower for some reason. It'd be weird. No idea how it fucking works. I don't care too either way. The EXP is manipulated by the sovereigns. Oh my god, I'm closing the fucking door. Okay. Okay. My cat has disappeared. Where to? I don't know. It's because I don't gain EXP. The ranking system is based on the current stream alone. So that's why, since I don't talk, I'm, which, oh my fucking god, I just put on the fucking headphones. That is... Dog, whatever. I can't be asked with this family. This is so fucking stupid. 808, a long awaited conversation. Sonny grimaced. What Nephis had said made sense, as much as the word sense could be applied to her. Changing Star wanted to destroy the Nightmare spell, and the Sovereigns were in her way, just like the Gunlock, a ruthless tyrant of the Bright Castle. They had seemingly given up on pursuing the liberation of the spell, and instead settling in the great power that had already bestowed upon them. What was worse is that they were holding others back from raising higher enough to threaten the positions. At least that's how it looked from below. Perhaps the Sovereigns had other reasons for the despotism and inactivation, but Sonny had no way of knowing if they did. Not that it mattered to Nephis. To her, they were simply an obstacle in the way to be destroyed. Her personal desire to avenge the immortal Flame Clan bring retribution to those who had betrayed her father only made the task sweeter. However, her enemies were much too strong. She would only be able to challenge them if she had become a supreme herself, but the pathway to supremacy was guarded by the very people she needed to destroy. Faced with the dead end, she had decided to use the Sovereign's own power to vanquish them. She also wanted to infiltrate the ranks of her enemy and put herself in a position to attack one of the great clans from within when the time came. Sonny let out a heavy sigh. So let me get this straight. You're going to join Clan Valor, fight for them until Clan Song is destroyed, to earn Anvil's trust, and then turn your blade against them? Nephis lingered for a few moments and shrugged. More or less. Why? He rubbed his face. This is a terrible plan. There are more holes in that plan than Swiss cheese. However sweet is, who says that Valor will win the war? Who says that Anvil will even treat you as anything but a latent threat? Do you think that he's a fool? Surely he knows how much you hate his guts. Changing Star looked at him calmly. I do. I do. I say who wins. I say whether he trusts me or not. It all depends on me, does it not? If I want the Great Song clan to fall, I have to make sure that it falls. If I want to win Anvil's favor, I have to make sure that he favors me. This performance was horrible. Fumbling Star, fumbling once again. No more for the next hour. What, EXP? If so, ask. Such an interesting conversation. I feel like we're back in the Dark City right after the flashback. That's what this conversation reminds me of, between Sonny and Nephis. But I guess more fucked, in a sense. Bear in mind that, like, Sonny and Nephis are only having a disagreement here, not anything else. I'm not a passive observer in this, Sonny. I have an agency to shape in the future into what I want it to be. Or, at least try to. Sure, the chances of success are poor, and the odds ever on my side. But when are the odds ever on our side? Sonny scuffed and shook his head. I'll give you that. Our luck is always terrible. However, there is a difference between being thrown into an overwhelming danger against your will and deciding to put yourself in risk of your own volition. Unlike before, we don't have the underdogs. You're choosing this. Nephis shook her head as well. That is where you're wrong, Sonny. Do you really think I have any choice? Do you think I can just turn back now? That the Sovereigns will ever let me in? The Sovereigns will ever let me be? No. It is too late for that. It is as you said. Valor are determined to have the pound of flesh. All I can is choose where they sink their teeth. He glances at her for a few moments, then spat. If you're getting something? Looking at him, Ginger Star frowned. What? Sonny stepped forward. Me! You're forgetting me! I have a say in this too, goddammit! She remained silent for a while. Eventually, Nephis said, I'm not forcing you to do anything. You don't have to follow me to Valor if you don't wish to. A crooked smile appeared in his face. Oh, great! But is that really true? There's a certain bond between us, after all. I'm only as free to do as I wish until you decide otherwise. Who knows if your mood will change one day? Nephis stared at him for a long seconds. Then she sat and crossed her arms. Oh, so that's what this is all about. Oh my god. Are we fucking serious, Nephis? You have no right to judge Sonny in this situation. You have no right to judge him. Oh my fucking god, just shut up. Stop letting the dogs out there. You know what? I'll carry on reading. And then I'll discuss my thoughts on this. Just me, girl. Just me. Sonny gritted his teeth and said slowly, Since we're talking about it, let's talk. This conversation was a long time coming, so Nephis, tell me, what are you going to do with your power over me? Her face remained impassive. Nephis looked at him coldly for a moment and said, Nothing. I never order you to do something for me ever again. Sonny was already opening his mouth to retort before she was finished speaking, but then froze. He stood still for a few moments and let out a long breath. Well, good, because if you ever tried, one of us would have to die. That is not a threat, just a fact. Suddenly, sparks ignited in Changing Star's eyes. She leaned forward silently and said, her voice barely spoken any emotion. And do you know why? Suddenly feeling a sense of unease, Sonny frowned. No, I can't say I do. Why? She took a step forward and stopped in front of him, almost as close as he had been during the dance. Her face was full. Her eyes were full of searing flame. Because I don't need anyone to follow me against their will. I don't need a magical collar to make people serve me. I don't need slaves. That's not enough for me. Sonny, why should I settle for submission when I can have loyalty? People who follow me, serve me, and obey me will do so because of their own or their desire. They will do so with a smile. If I ever make you mine, Sonny, you'll become mine. Not because you're forced to, but because you'll want to. And that is also a fact. Nephis, you truly stupid bitch. How to say the exact wrong thing is so fucking impressive to me. They'll do so with a smile. If I ever want to make you mine, Sonny, you'll become mine. Not because you're forced to, but because you'll want to do that. Want to. That is also a fact. I fucking... Nefis! Nefis! Gail! What the fuck are you talking about? It's really funny, this conversation, right? This is how conversation is really funny. Actually, you know what? I'll finish the chapter and I'll carry on talking again. Fucking hell, my hair. My hair represents my mood from this chapter. It's all over the fucking place. He stared at her for a few moments, startled by the sudden intensity of her words. Then, a stubborn expression appeared on his face. Aren't you a little too full of yourself? Who do you think you are to decide what I want? Nefis looked at him and then turned away and sighed. I am the person who knows best in the world, Sonny. 2 worlds, even. Okay, so that's confirming. She lingered for a few moments and then added quietly. As I said, I will never force you to do anything. But whether you like it or not, our fates are intertwined. And that bond has nothing to do with your innate ability. In truth, they were entangled from the moment we had met at the Academy gates. We just did not know yet. We did not know yet. You can't escape it. Can't escape fate? Sonny looked at Nefis for a long time and said darkly, Watch me. And with that, he dismissed the bone flute, turned around and left the kitchen. Entering the corridor, Sonny walked away. His nostrils were flaring and his face was contorted by an expression of anger. As he walked out, he took out his communicator and dialed a familiar number. After some time, a female voice resounded from the speaker. Sonny, what a nice surprise. Oh, is this Jet? Yeah, it is Jet. Sonny, what a nice surprise. It's good to hear from you. He hesitated for a few moments and took a deep breath. Then, Sonny smiled as he answered in a friendly tone. Master Jet, hey, I have a question for you. He paused for a second, then asked. How cold is Antarctica? Brother in Christ, what is this chapter? What is this chapter? Right, no, fuck off, pause. We need a breather. This and last chapter are too much. Because now we're reflecting the conversation they just had at the Forgotten Shore in the fucking time skip. Then I think she just confessed. Just verbatim. And then Sonny got angry about that. It's almost like the roles had switched. Again. But Sonny was doing the same outcome. Again. Brother. Right. I go bit by bit. The initial conversation about Clan Valor, Clan Song, about Mordred being involved, and the power display that's being imbalanced here. Obviously, that is a heavy reflection on the Dark City. And when I mean heavy. Like, it's so fucking abundant, it's almost taken up the atmosphere to a point where you could cut it with a butter knife. But now the circumstances have obviously changed because of fucking no shit. So rather than being the person that is actively in power, taking the parallel here, she is the one that's lacking power, taking the parallel of almost Mordred in this sense, in where Mordred is now a part of the Gunlock's crew, and she's a part of her own. The correlation between that's fucking strange. Then there was just that confession, right? I'm not ridiculous in saying that's a confession. And into more, and once again a valid crash out from my boy. It was a confession, by the way. Yeah, I fucking thought so. She certainly thought it was a confession. Yeah, because she's stupid as shit. Mordred are part of the Gunlog, in the sense of, like, Mordred and Nephis are now the civilians in this situation. But they have more power than most people. So Gunlog and Nephis would be paralleled between Valor and Song. That would be the parallel in this sense. With Sonny still taking up his old position, but now he has a significantly bigger foothold in the neck of the narrative than anything else. Yeah, confession for sure, just framed in a way that, in where she says he already had any time, of her choosing belonging to her. They're both so autistic that he doesn't understand, and she said it in the worst way possible. She couldn't have said that any fucking worse. I can't think of a fucking sentence that she could have said to Sonny to make him that, like, fucking I'm fucking angry for Sonny, and I knew what she was trying to do. They've been flirting non-stop for fucking dozens of chapters now since she's been back. The sexual innuendos are fucking everywhere like confetti. No shit, this was a fucking confession, but it was such a shit one. At least we need an emotionless person. The least we need is an emotionless person confessing. Nephis is not emotionless. Nephis is just stupid and doesn't know how to express. She's an expressionless person. She's fucking stoned, pretty much. Dead ass rage bait him into a whole nother continent. Yeah, pretty fucking much. In less autistic speech, she basically said we're connected, whether the bond is there or not. We love each other, and you like me. So you don't see me as an equal and a slave. I also thought it was a confession, but I don't really think it is. No, it's a confession. It's a confession in the most Nephis way possible. Because the pair of them have done nothing but flirt. Nephis has tried everything in her power to try and get the attention of Sonny. Everything Sonny has done to harness the attention of Nephis, by the way, has been accidental. And Nephis understands that. And Nephis has been able to correlate all of this information back to Sonny. This was a confession. This was Nephis being like, if I want a person in my life, it would be you. That's what Nephis is basically saying here. It was just done so shit. Mistake given the most spiteful person in two worlds a reason to spite you. Yeah. She said it like he really is beneath her and a slave. Which, in this scenario, yeah, you can't fucking blame her. She has to treat everybody like so, in the valor of her enemy. It's certainly a confession. Pretty sure that J3 confirmed. Yeah. If the community didn't know that it's a confession, please read. That sounded so rude. I'm so sorry. That was very mean. But, like, reading that, not understanding everything that came beforehand, and seeing everything that just played out as, like, a borderline confession from Nephis, I don't know what else you'd view it as, other than Nephis being a cocky bitch, which she is, blatantly. But she's also, like... Nephis is so hard to fucking talk about, because she's so stubborn in her likeness to admit anything. So her being in this conversation where she has to be incredibly rational for the vast majority of the conversation, and then admit her feelings in a rational way to somebody like Sonny, who is far too emotional in this sense, is really fucking funny. Curbs people argue about this point still, even if it's obvious. Neither one of them can stop being stubborn, though. That's the thing. I don't care. They both could be 30. They're gonna die stubborn people. It's the point. It's how they've been raised. Like, no, like, I don't fucking blame them for being stubborn. I blame them for being fucking morons. Oh. I'm angry for Sonny. What can I say? Nephis is still growing. You could say she's flawed. I mean, like, yeah. But that's also, like, always been her flaw. Nephis is a hyper-emotional person who hides it behind stoicism, in comparison to Sonny, who is not as emotional as Nephis, but has, like, louder outbursts. The pair of them, I would say Sonny and Nephis are equally as emotional as each other. It's just that Nephis has the better ability to just shut it the fuck up, in comparison to Sonny, who has a flaw that literally demands him to not be. The reaction from Sonny is childish. Hey, slave owner. Hey, technical slave owner, who was going to a great clan to try and dissect him from the inside out. What about me in this situation? You know, this person you have complete and utter control of if you have to say my fucking name. What are you going to do about that? And her response is, I don't need to say shit. You'll listen to me regardless. If I was in Sonny's position, well, if I was in Sonny's position with Sonny's brain, I'm also going to be thinking, oh, I'm being treated like a fool. I'm being treated as something lesser. No shit. I don't blame him for fucking leaving. I don't think it's a childish thing at all, especially with the pair of them being 20 as well. Like, yeah, no shit, they're both fucking stupid. But again, they're 20. I was so pissed at Nephis for what she did right now and what Sonny goes through in the next chapters. I remember having to read the paragraph 4 times. Each time I got more and more angry. I just went, what the fuck? I felt for Sonny so much. Yeah. Well, yes, it's childish. But who would be calm and collected after the literal master and worst fear said that? Not just that. Not just that. After he just had, like, first of all, Sonny, back to back. He's anxious and he's scared. He's surrounded by saints and masters and doesn't know how to get out of the situation. Not cool. Mordred appears. Oh, fucking Christ. That's not fun. And now he's even more anxious about everybody around him because Mordred can take over fucking anybody that isn't him, Cassie, or Nephis. Nephis, he would die. He can't take over Cassie. And Sonny, he would die. But he can take over fucking anybody else. So no shit, I would also be anxious in that situation. Then you try to go to Nephis about the whole fucking thing and try and make a reasonable argument for why she's going to be doing certain things in the future. Plus, a whole continent's worth of people are going to die in a couple of weeks. Just for the person you actually love and admire, but are scared of because they have complete and utter will and domination over you. In the most dangerous sense of your existence, says, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna kill the clans from the inside out. You can join me or not, I don't give a fuck. I still have the power over you regardless. But just so you know, if I ever want you to do something, it's because you're going to do it regardless of, like, what I say. And Sonny, who's an incredibly prideful person, whether it be in his fighting, whether it be in his genuine intellect, or whether it comes to, like, his capabilities of, like, reading a room, has had nothing but his pride tagged. Nothing but be anxious for hours on end, do shit he is not comfortable with, have a person he loved most come up to him and be like, hey, I'm just going to fucking systematically break down your pride even more so now. You can call it childish. It is a blatant attack on Sonny's character that she has just done. And I don't think she doesn't know that. And people say that Shadowbound isn't that bad. And she's right, but her wording is weird. Her wording is wrong inherently. If it was a couple more months of those two living a quite decent, like a decently comfortable life in the mundane world, then like, yeah, sure, I feel like she could get away with saying that shit. But she's been back for like what, a month and a half, if even. I don't think Shadowbond's all that bad for like the average person, but if you're an incredibly prideful person like, I don't know, Sunny, then yeah, Shadowbond fucking sucks. The worst part is, I'm pretty sure she didn't even mean it to put it in the way that she said it. No, she didn't. She was meant to say, hey, I like you. I want you by my side. Generally, I want you to support me in this fucking decision. But if you're not going to, fair enough. That's all she needed to fucking say, but no, she's too systematic in her wording. Never mind, Fumbling Star's too fucking perfect in the name. What a stupid bitch. Oh my days. Oh my god, that has made me so angry. That's actually pissed me off so much. Oh my days. She fumbled so hard. Unbelievably. She fell like a fucking comet. Yeah, she doesn't really care about the bond, but she doesn't understand that it affects Sunny. She lacks the information on Sunny's personality. He understands the meme now? Yeah, thank God for that. Love that for me. I hate it. I hate it so fucking much. She doesn't even attempt to empathize with him at all. No, not even a little bit. Like a gun, but it's it's like a gun, but with it, it's dangerous, even though it isn't going to fire. Yeah, there's also that. Nephis is still, like, mentally 18. She's had no one to talk to or communicate with or help grow in the better half of 2 fucking years. In comparison to Sunny, who's had, a chance to socialize, who's had a chance to grow up, who's had a chance to have people around him to be supportive of his decisions. He's had time to grow as an individual, to trust people around him, and now the person he loves the most, he can't trust at all. But Sunny should know better. Why would... Alright, in this situation, why would Sunny know better? He has had the fucking, worst kind of day possible. The one good thing that he's had so far is that he enjoyed the dance, and he looked good in a suit. Everything else has been shit. Anyway, let's keep reading. I'm done being mad. Yeah, I'm on the right channel. Chapter 809, True Strength. Sunny was riled and angry. Once again, talking to Nephis made him lose his sense of balance. However, the decision he had made was not an emotional one. He had clear composure. He had enough composure to keep a clear head even a while after it affected seething feelings. Years of battles and dire conflicts had taught him how to keep a cool head. So his choice was cold and calculated. 2 things had come clear during this conversation. The first one was simple. Nephis intended to join the Great Clan Valor, while Sunny didn't want to do anything with it. It was one thing to become a retainer for a powerful and prosperous clan in order to make use of one of its vast knowledges, arsenals, and resources. Despite his strong desire to remain independent, Sunny had entertained the idea himself. However, it was a completely different thing to want to join the embodied clan that was on the verge of entering a destructive and bloody war against a familiar, fearsome adversary. To add insult to injury, Valor was also on the looting end of the equation. Their enemy of the Great Clan, Song, held all the advantages. And even worse, that the idea of joining the warring faction with and even worse than that, the idea of joining a warring faction on the conscious plan of betraying further down the line, Nephis was more than willing to eventually face not one but both great clans in battle. She had her own goals and conviction, but Sonny just wanted to be left alone. He saw no reason to follow her into the Dragon's Maw. More than that, her joining Valor, the initial contradiction that had forced him into damn negotiations in the first place, was resolved. Since Valor was willing to settle for recruiting one of the members of the cohort, and Changing Star was willing to play that role of the recruit, then why the hell would he follow suit? In short, despite all the contradictory feelings raging inside Sonny's heart, the situation was rather straightforward. There was no compelling reason for him to enter the service of the Great Clan, but there was a convenient opportunity for him to take a step back and walk away. He would be a fool to not use it. Of course, in reality, things were a little bit more complicated. When she... One minute. Sorry about that. Sorry. I was reading chat. I forgot to unmute myself for the dog. Hey, Harsh is number 1 again. Sorry about that. I am the captain. Captain, my captain. Why am I saying that? You're my yeah, whatever. Of course, in reality, things were a bit more complicated. What Changing Star had said might have enraged him, but she was not wrong. Their fates did, indeed, seem to be intertwined. From being born in the same year to receiving divine and complementing aspects, from meeting at the gates of the academy to being sent to a small patch of the Forgotten Shore. Whether by coincidence or not, the connection was far beyond the tether of Shadow Bond. Sonny had a strong suspicion that the intrinsic attribute, fated, had a lot of doing to be placing Nephis in his path. And as much Sonny wished to defy fate, he was not arrogant enough to think that he was ready to break the chains just yet. He could also see how, no matter what he did, he would not be able to escape the coilings against Changing Star again. She had been right when she had said escaping the notice of the Great Clans entirely was impossible for them. Mostly for her, but also true for Sonny. With this meteoric rise, his SSA designation and his connection to both Nephis and Mordred, not to mention the Shadow God and Weaver, coming into contact with the Sovereigns and their domains was only a matter of time. Even if Neph joining Valor and Sonny did not, they would most likely meet again soon enough. The question then would be more the nature of the future relationship, whether it would exist or not. So, what could Sonny do in the shape of something that had the semblance of corresponding to his desires? Perhaps the most important revelation that had resulted from the conversation was the nature of Neff's intentions towards Sonny and her power over him. Sonny had spent several weeks burying his head in the sand and avoiding the pivotal discussion. As a result, those weeks had been perhaps some of the nicest of his life. However, his actions had caused everything to blow up in his face in the end. Nephis has said in no uncertain terms that she had intentions to ever using another order to him. Not because it was a moral consideration, but simply because it was beneath her. Changing Star had no need for an unwilling slave. She had disguised the idea of forcing anyone to obey her. Instead, she was planning to have people follow her of her own free will. Instead of enslaving anyone, she preferred to have people enslave and bind themselves by the desire to serve her. Nephis had told him that she would never force him to do anything, but she'd also seemed to be certain that he would follow her willingly in the end. And so, Sonny was the core of the problem. That, to Sonny, was the core problem of the dynamic between them. He believed that Nephis valued him. She'd even respected him, but despite all that, she still saw him as a follower. Sonny! And a follower can never be an equal. And a follower could never be an equal. Damn it. Worst of all, her stance was not baseless. Sonny couldn't help but think back in his conversation with Effie. The Huntress had told him once that he would never be stronger than Changing Star, because Changing Star had something that he lacked: conviction. Sonny had been tempted to dismiss her well-meant but bitter remark. However, he could not dismiss the fact that despite all of his desperate attempts, despite him almost killing himself several times to catch up to Nephis, there was still a noticeable gap in the power accomplished between them. He did not think that he had lacked determination. Gods knew that very few people had pushed themselves as hard and adored as much as he had. But the last conversation with Changing Star had finally given Sonny an inkling of what it was that he exactly lacked. As far as Sonny saw it, his determination was no less intense than Nephis's. However, all of his goals were internal. All he did was react to things. He did not strive to reach anything. Instead, he only strived to avoid and get away from things. To get away from danger, from poverty, from fate itself. He had only been reactive. Nephis, on the contrary, has always been active. She had always pursued a goal that was larger than herself. As a result, her conviction pushed her forward like an external force, while Sonny was stuck trying to pull himself up from nothing and propelled him forward. That's why he disdained always being left behind. A selfish desire to attain material wealth and live free would never be able to push him as hard as Changing Star's insane and unattainable dreams of pushing her. At least, that was his current thinking. Maybe it was all senseless crap. In any case, Sonny was determined to try and find the equivalent powerful motivation. Either it would help him, or it would not. However, no matter what happened, he would not be satisfied if he had been a valued follower instead of an equal. He was not still determined to grow stronger, much stronger, and if conviction was what it took to speed up his progress, he was willing to give it a try. Where was one supposed to find conviction now? Well, Sonny was pretty sure that attempting to save hundreds of millions of people in Antarctica was a pretty good start. That was where he was going to search for true strength. I love the fact that neither one of them understand each other. Like, at all. So fun. Your theory of Sonny trying to find conviction has come true. About time now. But I don't think it's going to be the answer I like. Two lovers who do not understand each other. Well, luckily for us, Nephis did not turn out to be a Disney adult because Sonny leaves. Since Sonny's flaws wording is clear coincidence, can Nephis order him to lie? No. I feel like that would just kill him. No, G3 was Asus, and I believe his head would explode or something. Yeah. Your master is asking you to deny the world, pretty much. Which, well, I can't imagine would go well. Also, I just want to say, thank you for 17 likes. Holy fuck. The wording is vague and strange. Yeah, who the hell stole it from me? Yeah. Yeah, no, that... It's such a weird conversation to have. The conversation and idea of conviction. Even the simple idea that conviction is something that means to strive forward is an inherent lie, right? And in Sonny's case, I don't think the answer I'm going to get from this conviction arc will be satisfying to me. At least in Sonny's character. I don't know. Is it bad that I feel convicted on these chapters so far? I don't think it is, but I also think it is. Oh well. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, Kirby. Let's hope I am. Chapter 810. The question is, can G3 pull it off? He's been able to pull most character arcs off so far. Like, I've been able to grasp at what he's trying to do. But bear in mind that pre-reader. What do you think? Lots of tension, big setup. Let's see what's to come of it. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like G3's put down, like, a lot of, like, enough hints to give everybody's character, like, enough sustenance for the viewers to understand where they're going to go. Even as Mod knows he's pre-reading. I was having this conversation with Mo yesterday, drinking. Because I went from streaming on TikTok to... I went from streaming on TikTok to dual streaming to streaming on YouTube. And the entire reason I stream myself reading these chapters is to prove the point that, one, I don't pre-read, and two, that I am inherently just an emotional person. And also to prove the point that pre-reading fucking sucks. Because where would that get me? Unless pre-reading has been an issue in the community before. Which, at that point, yeah, fair enough. There's a reason everybody loves Antarctica. He's not actually pre-reading, it's just slander. Yeah, you'll be... yeah, it's fine to be conflicted at this moment, but it's just trust and injury-free. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'll trust in him. I've trusted him so far. With 5 volumes in, he's not let me down. Actually, no, he's let me down on a handful of fights. But bear in mind that he's not let me down on any character developments, any character arcs, any actual character introductions, and how the characters have played out so far. So who knows? Well, you guys know. You're all fucking caught up. I'm just hoping Antarctica is as good as it's supposed to be. You saying that just gave me major deja vu. Just trust G3 in every arc, he never misses. He misses a fair bit. It's just never enough misses, never important misses, so just pointing out though. No idea why. I couldn't tell you. I'm not your dog. Anyway, 810. Secret gift. A couple of days later, Sonny was staring in his living room with a strange expression on his face. Everything had already been settled. He was leaving the long-awaited expedition, this time in a waking world instead of the dream realm. However, it promised to be even more of a nightmare. Well, whatever. High matters of faith and conversation aside. Conviction aside, Antarctica was still a perfect place for him to grow stronger. Now that Sonny was a master, it was not as easy for him to gather shadow fragments. Only fallen nightmare creatures and those who are powerful should do. Finding swarms of them was a task in and of itself, and the southern quadrant was about to be devoured by an endless horde of abominations offered a perfect opportunity. Not only would he be able to work towards becoming a tyrant, test his mantle and sharpen his skill, but there would also be plenty of soul shards for him to collect, which he needed to continue practicing weaving. By how many volumes are you too invested to quit? If you're halfway through volume 3, I feel like you're in too deep. You know too much to not want to know more. Okay, I'll trust in your quibs, just in case. Well, have I got a message in WhatsApp? Oh, I feel bad for Tom. He has more important shit to do with me, but yeah. Excluding forbidden knowledge, G3 fumbled after Tau. Okay. The name of the arc itself is a spoiler. Oh. Okay. I probably won't remember it. Because this is going to be a long journey for me. I could just tell. Finding swarms of them was a task in itself. And the stuff. Oh, yeah. So, Sonny was supposed to be gathering his things, preparing to leave. The thing was that he had already done that before the ball, just in the case that he would ever run away to hassle. Sonny had prepared so thoroughly that he could just walk out the door in despair now. Huh. Weird. He sighed and checked the refrigerator again, just to make sure that he did not leave anything that could spoil there. Nope, all clean. His communicator vibrated, then displayed a notification with the title of a network article in the view. Breaking news! A young hero is adopted by the brother-in-arms and her late father. Changing Star joins the hand of great clan valor. The corner of his mouth twitched. At that moment, the door opened, letting Effie and Kai, the two looking around, noticing the condition of the house. A few minutes later, the huntress shook her head. Damn. Are you really leaving? Sonny closed the refrigerator, then walked over, patting her on the shoulder. I am. Effie stared at him for a couple moments inside. And you're still not going to tell us where? Sonny smiled. I'm not at liberty to say that. Don't worry, though. You'll probably learn in about a month. She blinked. What's that supposed to mean? He waved his hand. It just means you'll know soon. Effie remained silent for a few moments and then shrugged with irritation. Oh, alright. Be on your way then. Sonny hesitated for a moment, but finally he asked, what about you? And the others? This time, it was Kai who answered. You must have already seen the news, but it's been officially announced. Yet, you must have already seen the news, but it hasn't been officially announced yet. But it's a thing that it's hard to keep secret. Neff has been adopted by Clan Valor. Casting the Firekeepers will follow her as retainers as Effie and I. Well, to be honest, we haven't decided yet. Sonny glanced at his friends with a somber expression. What are you guys thinking? Effie leaned on the wall and grimaced. I don't know. I was always thinking about becoming a master, but weirdly, I never really thought about what I would do after. Those pompous Valor folk rub me the wrong way. But they do offer a lot They have a lot of offers. Plus, pretty much everyone I know is with them now. Kai smiled weakly. I'm even more lost. I didn't even have thoughts of becoming a master, and now here I am. I still have a good guess, it's just hard to determine what is the best way to do it. Sonny lingered for a moment, and with a heavy sigh escaped his lips. Well, don't rush. Well, don't be in a rush to make a decision. Wait for April, at least. Quibs, how many messages have you deleted? One, 2, 3. I see 3 deleted messages. That's fine. That's better, Quibs. You can't get shit from that. It was February. It was February right now. But April. It was February now. By April, the collapse of Antarctica will be slowly starting, and the government would have already announced voluntary mobilization. Sonny had always wanted to tell his friends about the approaching disaster, but Master Jet insisted on keeping it confidential for now. He was not sure that Effie and Kai would want to go there anyway. The two of them, meanwhile, glanced at each other, and then Kai cautiously asked, "Does it have anything to do with your sudden departure?" Sonny nodded. "It does. Don't ask anything else, though, or you'll be putting me in an awkward position." Neither of them did, respecting his request. A strange sound sat between them. Finally, Sonny scoffed. "What are you guys doing? It's not like we're saying goodbye. We're still anchored to the Ivory Tower. We're still anchored to the Ivory Tower, you fools. I can always just hop in the dream and meet you there." Guy scratched the back of his head. "Oh yeah, true. I didn't think of that." Sonny shook his head. "Same goes for Nephis and Cassie, since they're not planning on moving to the Bastion yet. We're not be able to act an active cohort anymore, but we're still a big dysfunctional family of sorts. I can guarantee you that you won't miss me. In fact, you'll probably wish that I had appeared in front of your faces left often." He grinned and gestured at the door. "In any case, thanks for dropping by, but now I really have to go. I'm a bit of a schedule." He walked them outside, then watched them board the PTV and left. There was no emotional goodbye, since what he said was true. They would all be seeing each other in the dream realm often, no matter where they were in the waking world. So, that he meant he had one last thing to do. Sonny sealed the house by inputting a security system into a lock panel. Looked at it one last time. He walked to one of the neighbors' buildings and took out his communicator, sent a message, and then waited for a bit. A minute later, a surprised teenage girl walked into the porch wearing cozy home clothes. "Sonny, why are you here? We're not supposed to have a lesson today." He smiled and pointed at the backpack he hung on his shoulder. "Hey, Rain, I just came to say I'll be going away again. This time it'll take a bit longer for me to return." Her expression suddenly changed. "Oh." She remained silent for a moment, and then asked in a guarded, tentative voice, "Is it going to be dangerous again?" Sonny shrugged with a carefree expression. "Dangerous? Well, I'm pretty certain that I can handle it. And I'm a pretty tough guy, so don't worry." He sighed and then added, Plus, I'm going to be staying in a real world this time, so you can message me whenever. The network connection is going to be patchy where I'm going, so I might not be able to answer immediately. I'll eventually, though. That's a promise." Finally, she relaxed a little. "Really? That's great." He nodded after hesitating for a few moments. Sonny took a closer step and said, "You're going to turn 16 in a couple months, Rain. That means you have to be ready. You might have been chosen by the spell. You might have not. In any case, I think you'll have to I think that you're all sufficiently prepared." He fell silent for a bit and then added, "I taught you as much as I could. The rest depends on you, keeping practice with your sword, sharpening your mind as well. Most importantly, keep working on your mentality. Rain looked at him and nodded seriously. I will. She did not notice anything strange. She did not notice that something strange had happened in the spot where the shadows interacted. A massive dark silhouette that resembled a Stygian serpent followed from Serpent's shadow, then hid itself in hers. Sunny had invoked one of Soul Serpent's abilities, Grace of Shadows. What? Ability description. The master of the Soul Serpent can grant another with the trust and companionship of Shadow Guide. One should be careful whom they bestow this grace. Entrusting another as a royalty of shadows is the same as sharing one's soul, and thus should not be offered lightly. Huh. He could not give Rain any memory. He could not give Rain any memories. Neither would he give her any echoes. Rain did not possess an aspect or a soul core to encompass them. She certainly did not possess a shadow core to receive one of his shadows. But Soul Serpent was different. Grace of Shadows allowed it to accompany anybody who had a shadow, including mundane humans. So, Sunny transferred Serpent to Rain and commanded it to hide itself unless the girl was in mortal danger. And with the help of an awakening devil, she should be able to survive anything. Yeah. This bitch Sunny pisses me off to this day with his moronic decision. Like, genuinely. Like, this is a moronic decision or something that just happened? Because I don't think this is all that stupid. Like, from Sunny's perspective, this is, like, fine. To guarantee that Rain would be alive? Perfect. Perfect. Especially for a mundane human. Such a good brother? Yeah, pretty much. And he has no idea how bad how it would get. Yeah, exactly. Sunny knew that providing Rain with his handicap. Sunny knew that by providing Rain with his handicap, he might have been stunting her own growth. But he did not care. His sister did not have to grow strong or die. He was more than capable of being strong for both of them. Looking at her, he smiled. Well, anyway, don't be a stranger. If you need advice, just message me. You're my only student after all. So if you ever die, my reputation will be ruined. No one will ever hire me as a tutor again. Rain glared at him for a moment and scoffed. Why would I die? I'm too smart for that. You, however, make sure not to die yourself. I won't be able to brag that my tutor is a master if you're dead. Sunny grinned and then waved at her and turned away. It was time to leave the city where he had grown up, both for the first time once again. Ooh, brother. Soul Serpent is the group, but he's kind of broken. The decision makes perfect sense. If Sunny only had Saint, then I'd think it's a stupid decision. But no, he has another nightmare creature that's as strong as Saint. That can create miniature minions. So I don't think this is an inherently stupid decision. Hindsight is 20/20, so on. And yes, I'd love Soul Serpent in the common arcs, but Serpent is also damn strong. Just to add to the roster. You can get why he did it. There's also the emotional toil of it all. I just don't think... I don't know. I don't know how dangerous Antarctica is, but I can't imagine it being, the safest fucking place on Earth if it's the longest goddamn arc. Right. People are weird as fuck, dude. Oh my god, when was the last time you fucking... Better be safe than sorry, and it's his sister after all. That's why I don't get him not leveling up his other minions more. If he didn't give Serpent away, think about who we would have. Yeah, that's fair. But for now, I told you I'd read 10 chapters. And now it's 10 chapters. What a fucking roller coaster. I'm glad y'all asked me to read this out loud. Cause holy shit. That was certainly a like just conclusion generally. 8-11, I've got to remember that. What a fucking assortment of chapters that was. Where has he has the time, bro? You also said talking about something last night after the chapters. Oh, yeah, right. I told you about my fucking awful decisions. God, if that guy had Soul Serpent, we'd be cooked. Right. Since Quibs deleted that one, I'm assuming I was not meant to read that message out loud. That guy. Anyway, last night I was a fucking... I was a fuck up. I was an idiot. I was a dumbass, professionally. Right? Started off in work. In where football team had... my work's like local football team had finally gone to the finals. Right? So all of them were drinking like fucking crazy. And I work behind the bar, so all of them were drinking. And several times I've been offered a drink, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, sure. I'm a heavyweight, I can keep it with you drinking. And I did. I think I had like 6 pints, something like that. 6 pints. Which then led into a couple of shots, and, you know, it got handy dandy. I was a bit tipsy over I was tired and tipsy by like 8 o'clock. It got to 8:30, and then I was going to town centre with my mate. Mol. And we sat down, we talked for several hours. We were talking about spirituality, we were talking about religion, we were talking about ourselves as self. It comes in pints. Not the shots, but like normal drinks, yeah. Then we ran into a hippie, right? And this is bad decision. Well, bad decision number 1 was drinking with rugby players. Don't fucking do that. Football players even. Bad decision number 2 was talking to a hippie. Because then that led into a chain effect of talking about more spirituality shit and disagreeing with him. To then meeting this odd fella and this 43-year-old Polish guy. And all 3 of them were insufferable talking together. It was just argument and just bickering and battering and all this extra. It was all bullshit, right? And it was all bitching for like half an hour. What did I miss? Sunny giving Rain Soul Serpent. And now I'm talking about my mistakes that I did last night. What else was there? In the midst of these lads talking, my ex, me and my ex have been talking casually for the better half of a couple of weeks. Life had been chaotic. No, and was like, fuck, whatever. Then she had messaged me like how her sister messages me whenever she gets the phone, Kaylee. And she was like, come out, why not? I was like, Kaylee, give your phone back to Liv. Then Liv messaged me being like, it wasn't Kaylee, that was me. I was messaging for real. I was like... And at this point, I'm 12 drinks in. 12 drinks, couple more shots, couple double vodka rums. No, double rum and coke, couple double vodka oranges. Shit like that. I'm heavily intoxicated at this point. I'm fucked. I look at Mo, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get an Uber home. And then I'm gonna go to town. She's like, why the fuck are you gonna go to town? Their argument had just gone juicy. I showed her the messages, and she looked at me like she was gonna kill me. Rightfully so. She was like, you bitch, don't you fucking dare. I did. What could go wrong? Yeah, right, what could go wrong? It's only you and your ex drunk as fuck in the middle of town. So I get the Uber. I now owe Mol, like 3 double rum and cokes and a packet of crisps. Maybe 4. Like, double rum and cokes. Then I go home. I come home at like 2 in the morning. Not even 2 in the morning. I think I came home at like 2:30. Got an Uber at 2:30. Came home at 2:30. Got another Uber 25:02. Right, 25:03. There, and I was messaging Liv the entire time, being like, "Fuck it, where you at?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm at this club specifically." And I was like, "Okay, bet. Where the fuck are you?" Told me where she was, and I ran into a couple people. And here's mistake number 3. Okay, mistake number 3 being, talking to people inside in this club because they recognize my family's name, and by proxy they recognize me because I don't go to my local town like ever. And they're like, "Oh my god, are you fucking What's Her Face's kid?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm the eldest." Fun fact. I do exist. Fun fact. And I kept indulging in other conversations, being like, "Nah, your man's the fucking ghost. Love you. I've heard all this beautiful things about you, and like learning how to talk to autistic people and discovering yourself and shit." I told 2 people. I told 2 people specifically to fuck off to their face. They were like, "Oh, but we're like friends with your mum, and we want to talk about you." But they're talking about me to me in front of my face as I'm trying to meet my friend. Ex, even. Like, whatever. So I have to tell them to fuck off, and they were like, "Oh my god, you're so rude." And I'm like, "You're talking about me to me. Fuck off out of my face. Don't care." So drinks, talking with Mull about spirituality, arguing with a hippie and art dude, getting an ex's number, presumably from Kelly, message from Liv. This is already giving me a brain bleed. No. Drink with Mull. Talk about spirituality. Meet a hippie. Meet an hard fella. So a hard fella, a hard man, and a Polish man. All 3 of them argue. While they're arguing, my ex messages me, drunk, being like, "I'm out, it's my sister's birthday. Come drink with us." So that's what I do. It took me like 45 minutes to do it, but I did it regardless. Because the argument the 3 lads were having was very, very funny. A pessimist, a Polish man, and a hippie walk into a bar. I then go meet up with Liv. I go talk, like, people come up to me, talk to me like they know me, like they know my mum and shit. And I'm like, fuck off. Oh my days. Meet up with Liv and her mate. Her mate looks at me and is like, "You better make sure she gets home fine." Whatever. Yeah, that was already gonna happen anyway. I've known this bitch for 3 fucking years at this point. She was gonna get walked home regardless. Then this one woman came over. This sounds like a blind man walks into a bar full of blondes. Daredevil? Regardless, there's this one woman who comes over when me and Liv are like talking. We're just talking about like uni life, how jobs have been, what she wants to do after uni and shit. And this one woman comes over and does not shut the fuck up for an hour. Same argument that I was having with the other 2 people beforehand, and where they were like, "Oh yeah, you're my son, like she's all this and all that." We both, me and I was like, Liv had already knew that, like, I don't go out in my hometown because people know my family. Generally, like, we just get recognized and we're known and shit. So I don't go out to my hometown. I go to other places, whether it be somewhere else in the north. I'm not gonna fucking dox myself here, right? But even when telling her, I was like, dude, I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know your older sister who happens to know my uncle. I don't know the relation they had. I don't care about the relationship you have with my mother. I don't care. Fuck off. But she was like, oh, but nah, you don't get it. It was complicated. Your mother basically raised me. And I'm like, basically they raised you? How fucking old are you? She said 24. But she was talking about it like she's known my ma for fucking years on years. They go way back. They go way back. You don't understand the trauma that's been going on. I don't fucking care. Letting that woman talk was mistake number 4. Yeah. Mistake number 4. And I'm like, at this point, I would have beat my head in the corner of this fucking barrel that I'm sitting on. And Liv is looking at me like, we need to fucking leave. I'm drunk. I'm tired. Let's fuck off. And I'm like, bet. And that was mistake number 5. Because that led into a skew of weird comments between the pair of us. Which then, it took us like half an hour to walk her home. And mistake number 6 happened, which was my phone had died. Right? I think my phone was on like 10% when I got to the actual pub itself. So by the time we were like walking to hers, my phone had died. And I was like, I know my way back home regardless. Is it going to take 2 hours? Yeah. But like, it can be done. She was like, absolutely fucking not. We can chill in my living room and wait for your Uber to come. I was like, you're not buying me an Uber. And she's like, I've already paid for it. Fuck off. And I was like, okay. So we're chilling in the living room and we get far too comfortable. It felt like I was in uni again, where it was just cuddly and shit. And by the time the Uber was outside, we were already kissing and making out at that point. And that was mistake number 7. Bro is 15 steps beyond drunk dialing his ex. First of all, she messaged me. How dare you? Second of all, I'm hammered. I'm a good drunk, right? I'm able to keep stone-faced and pretend like I know what's going on around me. No, not a fucking clue. I couldn't tell you what the first 2 people looked like when I walked into this club. I just remember talking about me and my mum, and I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you saw. I only remember what the fucking other one looked like, because I was there looking at her for an hour thinking, why the fuck am I still here? The amount of times I fell in the bush or almost tripped on my face trying to get this woman home was fucking ridiculous. And yes, she had the audacity to message me first thing in the goddamn morning for the pair of us, being like, I'm hungover, and you were clearly not that drunk last night. And I'm like, bitch, I'm a heavyweight. I'm a big drinker. I'm a big boy. It takes longer for drinks to kick in. She called me fake drunk. I was like, absolutely fucking not. She called, you came. Remind me of a... You fucking prick. Holland, you fucking prick. How dare you? At least I'm not as whipped as my best mate, my cousin. I'm not even whipped, I was just drunk. If I was like 10% more sober, I would have told her to fuck off. But no. Josh is a great role model. I'm never doing anything like this dude ever. Don't ever. I'm a perfect role model for shit do not do. Don't ever do half the shit I do. The only time you should ever listen to me is when I'm being like, hey, I would never do this, so you should go do this, because I'm telling you to do the responsible thing. Hey, don't message your ex. Not my game. Willingly at the no shadow bound. Willingly at no shadow bound. Olin, I will mute you, bitch. You fucking I can't say C. I can't say C. But yeah, I woke up. a little bit hungover. I had a couple pieces of chicken, and I'm not even kidding. Like, half of this had electrolytes in it, and I downed it, so I wasn't that hungover when I woke up. I was still hungover, though, which showed how fucking bad I was. I get hungover easily, but if electrolytes aren't fixing it, if electrolytes and a good amount of food aren't fixing it, then yeah, no, I was gone. I was fucked. So yeah, 7 clearly obvious mistakes were made that night. And now I owe Mol, like... I owe Mol 3 drinks. 4 drinks. I'll make it 4, because I don't want to buy crisps. I owe my cousin 100 quid. But at least I don't owe him a tattoo. Because I broke celibacy. More in common with Sunny, it seems. How fucking dare you, okay? Just so you know, I'm not blagging about this. Her name on my phone. Ooh, I don't want to show you that. No word of a lie. Can I do this? I can. Nope. No word of a lie. When you said that. No, fuck off. Oh my days. It's called Campfire. No. Campfire. So you saying that about me being similar to Sunny than I think, is really funny. I am back once again. Number 7, huh? What did I miss? Yesterday, for you was fucking cancer in a form. Oh, yeah. You got laid? No, thankfully. Or else I would have had to get a tattoo. I did break celibacy, though. So I do owe my cousin 100 quid. Which is ass. It's very buns, but a deal's a deal. Thankfully. Alright. Right. Here's why. Me and this ex, we broke up like a year and a bit ago now. Because it got bad. Just personally. If you get a tattoo, get serpent. Oh, that requires them getting the picking the tattoo for me. Uncle saying buns is crazy. Anyway, it's thankful because one, because there was another part to the celibacy bet. Because she had messaged me again back. She messaged me in January, which is the first time we communicated in a year. My cousin and Rowan were taking a piss out of me. Dylan was like, "You should hit her up. Just have one go." Because we had already put down the celibacy bet. And I said nothing's gonna happen between me and Liv. Like, ever. Like, I highly fucking doubt anything between us would happen again. Because I'm a stubborn prick. I was so stubborn and so confident in that, in fact. I said, if I ever sleep with her, ever again, whether it be drunk or sober, not only will you get the £100, because obviously I would have broken celibacy, I also let you pick out the next tattoo that I'm getting. So you aren't against the serpent tattoo? I don't like snakes. I don't know what to tell you. I think they're cool creatures. Rowan, IRL Rowan. Wrong Rowan, but you know. But yeah. So now, if I did anything more than just make out with Liv, I'd have a tattoo on me by now. How long's the bet for? The Liv one was perpetual. The celibacy is only for a year. And I do plan to tell them, I just don't have £100 to give them. I'm not a slimy bitch. I already told Rowan anyway. You have tattoos. One there. I'm finishing off my JoJo's tattoo design. Which has implements of like all the major arcs. So it's like 9 constellations, pretty much, right? The main star has just has JoJo's logo on it. But part 2 has has like a bubble, and that bubble has Joe's just like little 2 ball like dangle things like wrapped around it in a circle. Part 3 has a fist punching a clock. Part 4 has a diamond that's in pristine shape. I haven't finished part 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9's design, but part 9 is going to be gold with plants growing out of it. The elemental symbol for gold, so AU, with plants growing out of it. Part 6 is going to be it's going to be like, I don't know how to explain part 6. Part 6 is basically just going to be, I think I might just make it the infinity symbol, but like stringed out, pretty much. Part 7 is going to be the gyro ball, but like at the precipice of like where the star comes through, you'll see the gun, pretty much, because obviously it's a cowboy, and like the golden rotation, the ball. I should put the golden rotation in the background of that one. Writing it down. There we go. Part 8's really fucking hard. Because obviously it's just Josuke. Well, it's Gabby, but it's Josuke, right? And it's like, okay, how the fuck am I meant to implement, like, the antagonist and, like, the themes? Like, how can I implement, like, all the cool shit of part 8? Like I have been doing for the other parts, bear in mind part 1. So, the initial idea was gonna be a rock inside of a bubble, because Rockman. But I also want to make the bubble, like, kind of spin, because that's the point of the bubble. Like, part 8 kind of ends with the gun rotation being finalized through the bubble. Hence why it, like, breaks all barriers. And then part 9, I'll be honest, because we only just got done with part 1. Act 1 of part 9. There's not really much to go off. Bear in mind the fact that, like, the thieves and the main stand is Purple Rain. So I don't know how to implement that. But I've got the idea. It's all written down on my phone. Like, all of them. I didn't finish the idea, but I've got the general layout for a couple of the stars done there. I wanted a JoJo's tattoo forever, but trying to come up with a unique one was actually quite difficult. But I haven't found anything that comes up similar to mine yet, so. Bro has to bet to stay celibate. No, okay. That the celibacy thing turning into a bet evolved. Because the last time I was in a not even a relationship. The last time I was fucking someone was back in September. That was for a couple weeks. Then we went on a couple dates. And then they just kept pissing me off. So I fucked her off. And then I thought about doing celibacy back in November. Like around about my birthday. And try and make the celibacy from my birthday to nextwards. But Dylan was like, just make it till like January to January. And I was like, what about New Year? I haven't had a shag. Not on New Year since I was 15. Some shit. So I don't want to break tradition. And he's like, oh, fucking kiss then. Just wait until it goes 12 o'clock. It's 1st of January. I was like, okay, fair enough. That's smart. But the initial idea was only to go half a year. So from November to, I guess it would be late April, early May. So now, technically. And then he was like, just do the full fucking year. And I was like, I could easily do the full year. And he was like, no, you can't. I was like, I bet 100 quid. Now, I can do it. Easy. And he was like, yeah, okay. And to be fair, we both did way better than I expected. Because if we are going from when I stopped talking to people to now, that's 8 months. That's 9 months. That's great for me. Anyway, that's been life. That was the story of me fucking up, and that's my JoJo's tattoo idea. And we're ending the stream with Harsh having his crown back, of course. Because why not? Next stream will be, again, more of a chill stream. Probably the next 2 streams are going to be a lot more chill streams. I didn't notice till now that your eyes are teal. My eyes are bright blue. 1 minute. My eyes are bright blue. Just bright blue. Lamau Wild. When? Fair. Anyway, no, today's Monday. No, it's not. Tomorrow will be a casual stream. It'll be another Elden Ring stream. Then Wednesday we'll do probably a back-to-back casual stream. And then I need to check my schedule. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be adding my, I'm pretty much reading by myself from this point onwards because I've read the parts that y'all want me to. When am I next on work? Friday? Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'll stream. 2 casual streams, 1 reading stream. So hopefully that should do well. How's volume 2, 3, and 4 coming along? It's finding art for the second nightmare that's kind of pissing me off. But bear in mind that the video's fine. I'd say it's about 13% done. I was meant to be doing it. I was meant to get a bit of it done last night, but I told you all the story. I'm like, why that didn't come into fruition. So that's fun. From the blog, only just joined the stream at 3 hours in. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's it. See you Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Adios, bitches.